throughout the tri-state region have gathered here to watch the stars of the Winston Cup Series make the charge for Bud Pole qualifying in the Pennsylvania 500.
Little bump and run. Oh! And the caution is out. The track clouded in smoke. Oh, he gets around.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me double shot inside.
TNT Sports presents the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. Today, it's Bud Pole qualifying for Sunday's running of the Pennsylvania 500, presented by Pep Boys. It is a mostly sunny, cool, and breezy day here in the Pocono Mountains. 44 drivers ready to make the charge for the Bud Pole position as we get ready for the 20th race of the NASCAR Winston Cup season. The cars are being rolled out onto pit road and the drivers emerging from the garage. Let's go trackside and begin with Marty Snyder.
Well, Bill, 47 days ago, Ricky Rudd left Pocono very disappointed, leading with 6 laps to go. Had the flat tire, and Ricky with the fastest car in practice this morning. I would say that the pole today would help erase some of those June memories, wouldn't it?
Well, Marty, it really would. You know, we won this race, I guess, June a year ago, and came back and ran so well here the last, I guess, 30 days ago. And, you know, Savlin Taurus has been really fast. It was fastest in practice. Now it's time to get it done when it really counts. And a little pressure on today, but these guys gave me a good race car.
Quick update on the Sun Landon. He's back to 100% and back at home, packing down as much ice cream as he can after having his tonsils removed. To Matt Yoakum.
Marty, for the second straight week, John Andretti turns in a time of second quick or better in practice before qualifying. A slip-up last week in New Hampshire when he started 27th. But how about this weekend, John? Can you break through and get the pole?
It's awful nice to call it a slip-up. I think it's more like...
That's being kind.
Yeah, I know. It was more like a crash without damage. But I think that, you know, who knows? I mean, last week, Bill Elliott, he was in the middle of the pack after the practice, and he ended up getting the pole. I think your timing with the weather, you know, being cloudy and everything means a lot, and just so many things go into qualifying. If I was a 10th slower in this practice, I'd be, you know, 10th. So who knows? I mean, we're just going to try and get a good run in for the Cheerios Dodge and hope that we do all the right things instead of all the wrong things.
John Andretti has never won a pole here at Pocono. His last pole came at Phoenix back in '99. 90 races ago, Dave Burns. He's hoping to break through here at his home racetrack, Pocono.
Matt, Kevin Harvick broke into this year's win category 2 weeks ago at Chicagoland. He fought to a top 10 finish last week at New Hampshire, but so far today in practice, only 29th best. Kevin, what's going on with your car?
Well, we were just trying to make the numbers match up on the board so we could...
29 and 29.
We didn't get confused in the trailer, but every time we went out there at the end to make a sticker run, somebody spun out the first time. We had to come back in, cool it off, and finally the second time we went out and didn't make it happen. So we just, we don't really know what we got. We think we're pretty decent, but man, Yoakum, he practices and he still screws up even when you're live on the air.
You did say you were going to pick on Matt more this year, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Yoakum, he's got a big mouth sometimes. Rumor has it that he's in the rumor mill for getting replaced.
Oh, no, here we go. Silly season down here in the pits, Bill. I don't know what we can do about that.
Okay, Dave, thanks a lot. Kevin Harvick stirring the pot. Hi, everybody. Bill Weber along with Wally Donald back, and on behalf of the whole gang, welcome to the Pocono Raceway, a very difficult 2.5-mile track, 3 unique turns, and setting up a race car for this place puts a lot of demand on the driver, doesn't it?
It's pretty tough, but this is one of my favorite racetracks. Normally, when you set a car up here, because you have 3 corners that are so different, normally everybody tries to set up for turn 3 because you're taking so much speed through turn 3 down that long straightaway. Real important corner to get off of. The other 2, you kind of just do your best. But I'll tell you what, turn 2 is tricky too, Bill, because it's very, very tight. You get in there really, really deep, you just breathe it, and you get back after it. You kind of hold your breath.
Turn 2 is the one we'll refer to throughout the weekend as the tunnel turn, because the tunnel to the infield goes under that turn. It's very rugged
getting across there as well.
Yeah, there's normally a couple of bumps through there, and it's tricky getting through there. But, boy, if your car's right, it's a lot of fun getting through there. If you hit it just right, it's a blast.
2.5-mile track, but these drivers will be shifting here throughout the weekend.
Actually, this is one of the places you do shift. You get into turn one, you actually downshift getting into turn one. There's two different ways of doing it. Some guys, as soon as they get on the brakes, they'll downshift. Some of them will slow down and wait till they get way down in the corner to downshift. So there's two ways of doing it, but yeah, you really have to downshift here.
Now, John Andretti also talked about the weather. It did rain here briefly this morning and interrupted practice. Then the guys went back out, so the weather, the clouds could be a factor as well.
I don't know. It looks like the weather is going to be pretty consistent. Normally you have a lot of sun and some cloud cover, but I think it looks like today it's going to be consistent for everybody, so that's good.
And Mark Martin will be the first to find out. First of 44 cars to take 2 laps on this 2.5-mile track. Here he comes. This will be the tunnel turn. So you make almost a complete 2.5 miles before you come down through the short chute out of turn 3 and then begin your lap. And this is the point Wally was just trying to make, that when you set yourself up in 3, you're setting yourself up for that long straightaway on the front stretch.
And I think qualifying is all right here. It's how you get the green flag a lot of times on your get-go lap. So it's real important to get through turn 3 as you take the green flag, because that's going to affect your whole lap.
Mark Martin comes in here second in points, 55 behind Sterling Marlin, but he has never won at this racetrack. Down low through the first turn, now the Long Pond straightaway.
The car looked really good through turn 1. He kept it right down on the bottom, and he didn't use a lot of racetrack on the exit, so he got through turn 1 really well.
Through the tunnel turn where the scoreboard is, where the drivers can occasionally look up and see what's going on up front. Now the short chute heading for 3. The track record here, 52.207 seconds, set by Tony Stewart 2 years ago this month. Lap number 1 in the books for Mark Martin.
Well, Bill, I was just wondering, as I was sitting here with Kevin, you talked about every corner being important here. Wally talked about it. Kevin, which corner for you guys has been the toughest to set up for, or that you've been working on getting through?
Well, turn 1's got a lot of wavy bumps through it, and actually they call this Long Pond straightaway right here. The things have become so close that we're actually shifting twice down there too, along with the front straightaway, just to get up off of all 3 corners. So turn 1 has been the toughest for us, but like Wally said, getting up off of turn 4 is by far the most important thing, because of the straightaway's a mile long, so there's a lot of speed to be lost there or gained, and that's the main thing that you want to concentrate on, is getting back into the gas as soon as possible. So
now Mark Martin shut down after 1 lap. Are we going to see that a lot today if you cut a good one on the first?
Well,
if
you cut a good first lap, and a lot of times you can tell if you don't get in the gas and get off of turn 1 good enough, you're not gonna have a good lap anyway, because getting up off the corners here means so much because the straightaways are so long.
And of course, the good thing being here during the race, you've got 2.5 miles to make up time if you bob a little bit. But during qualifying, you really cannot mess up any corners, can you?
No, you gotta be on it pretty much on top of your game through all 3 corners. So if we make it through turn 1 and get back in the gas without the thing getting loose, the Goodwrench car will be good in qualifying. So I don't really know what we have. We'll just have to go out, and it'll be a surprise as much for you as it will for me.
Hey Kevin.
Yeah.
Pretty much on this place, because it's so big, you really have to kind of get your first lap to be your best because of the tires normally, don't you? I mean, by the time you get to turn 3 on the second lap, you pretty much used them up. Is that still true?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Once you run so much, you want the car down so hard, and you got so much rebound and everything. Once you get the heat in the tires and lose a little bit of grip, it'll start to lose the front end. So, I mean, basically the first lap is what you've got, and the only reason you'd run a second one is if you screw the first one up.
Now, do you need Wally to come down here and run your car again for you this year, like he did last year?
That might not be a bad idea, because I told him this morning, I'm out on the racetrack going, man, I don't know where I'm at. I was all screwed up. I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
Kevin, I'm on my way. I'll be down there.
You're staying right here.
Well, as you folks know, last year Kevin did the double duty between Pikes Peak as Jeff Gordon gets out on the track here and takes the green. The double duty between Pikes Peak and coming back to Pocono. Is it nice just to do one race?
It is, and that was probably our toughest weekend. And I mean, it was a late night, a long flight, and we're just glad to be concentrating on one car.
Boy, is he whining or what? Good gracious!
That sounds like Matt Yoakum.
Harvick.
Well, Yoakum,
Harvick, what's this I hear about silly season? I keep hearing that you're the one in the silly season rumor mill. 4 or 5 different rides you could be going to?
Well, yeah, I think I'm going to just
3 are Truck
wrap
Series
it up.
rides, but we know
I'm going to drive trucks, Busch Series, and Winston Cup next year. So
you can drive trucks still?
Well, I guess.
Actually, I think Richard's mad at him,
if
Matt.
Richard will let me.
Well, he's mad at you from last week because didn't you pour the orange juice over him that wrecked his cell phone? And
oh,
yeah. Victory Lane at Chicagoland.
Yeah, I noticed you don't let yoke him into Victory Lane anymore.
Well, because you're never there, so I have no reason to go.
Your hair's always hard enough, so you put enough hairspray in there for all of us.
Hey, by the way, seriously, one quick question for you. A big rumor down here in the NASCAR Winston Cup garage. Any truth to the rumor that Hair Club for Men could be an associate sponsor with you or a personal services endorsement deal coming down the pike?
Yeah, and rumor has it that you need to go to Jenny Craig because you've got so many easy jobs that you're starting to gain a little bit of weight.
Okay, time to jump in here.
Wow, Kevin qualifies 12, Bill, so we probably better let him go, huh?
I got to go.
I want to see the interview after that lap.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff Gordon currently second of the 2 cars that have gone, and he also has shut it off, it appears, Wally.
Yeah, I think they're getting everything they can get on this first lap.
So 2 of 42 cars have already qualified here at the Pocono Raceway. Mark Martin, the fastest so far. On TNT is brought to you by Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Burn fat, crush cravings, and supercharge your energy. By Budweiser, with a crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. And by Mobil 1. The more you know about new Mobil 1, the better it is for your car. And as you continue to watch Bud Pole qualifying live from the Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania, Joe Nemechek on the track, coming around to complete his second lap. And he shuts it down, the first of the 3 cars to run both laps.
Yeah, the second lap was quite a bit slower than the first lap.
And that's been the trend so far. Marty?
Yeah, you guys talking about why cars are not running the second lap. You, of course, did not, Mark Martin. Why no second lap for you and Jeff Gordon?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. For me, the second lap is not quicker hardly anywhere because I have raced for 27 years, and in qualifying, you go for it. You know, when the flag comes out, and that usually means for me a lot of times the first lap is the one. But the water temp is the real deal. You know, around 2.5-mile racetrack like this, you know, you just you make too much heat.
How was your car?
My car was okay. It was okay in practice, and I backed my practice time up. Most of the guys have slowed down from practice. Unfortunately, we had sun. We were the first car out. 2 things against us. Now the clouds are in, and you know, we could have had a more favorable draw, and I could have hit a home run maybe in the tunnel in turn 3. I really I really got around 1 good, but I didn't do anything special at the other end.
He said he was proud of that turn 1, but just missed 2 and 3, and you talked about it, Wally. It's always a compromise here. You're not going to hit all 3 corners the way you want to do it.
Yep, that is so true. But you know, you got to be happy with turn 3, unless you really blow one of the other corners. If you know you got through turn 3 good, you know you're going to have a decent lap.
And here's last week's winner, Ward Burton, went to victory lane at the New Hampshire International Speedway. And the New England 300, his 5th career win, and that was quite a celebration. And if you look at the nose of these cars, you'll see all the tape on the front end. That's contributing to 2 things, Wally, pinning the nose down and the overheating that Mark talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. They're trying to get everything they can out of the first lap. So they've got the whole front is basically taped up. And like Mark said, what happens is the heat builds so fast when you've got the front completely taped up. Water temperatures go up real quick. See this whole area right in the front here, that's all taped up, and that basically helps the drag of the car get through the car a little bit, or the car goes through the air a little bit cleaner, as well as putting downforce in the car as well.
Ward was 28th in the practice here this morning. There was a 2-hour practice that was interrupted for about 45 minutes or so by rain, and then the cars, there's Ward going around. That could have been his celebration donut from last week, but not exactly properly timed.
He's got a few flat tires there.
Yeah. And you talk about how tough it is to get around here, Wally, and you run the first lap. Some guys go for it on the first lap. Some guys find out what happened, then go for it again on the second lap.
Yeah, if you don't think you've got a really good first lap, you try to get a little bit more on the second lap. It's your second chance, so he probably didn't feel good about the first one, and he was trying to get a little bit too much out of it.
And that car is poised on the track. And here's another look.
It looked like he just drifted up high, and it's real dirty, real close to that wall. He may have got that right rear in the marbles, and that was just enough to get him sideways. I'll tell you another problem down in turn 1 is if you get your car really pinned down, it's real bumpy down there, and the car will start to hop. And with all that downforce in the front and everything, the car starts to hop. You'll hop up the racetrack, and that could be a little bit of a problem as well.
You can see Ward's okay, dropping the window net. It was just 5 days ago he was celebrating inside the 17 of Matt Kenseth, who cut down a right rear tire late in the race, and that allowed Ward Burton and Tommy Baldwin and company to emerge in victory lane at the New Hampshire International Speedway. Their first win since the Daytona 500. Ward out of the car. And it's going to take a look. He's got a little repair work to do. Snyder?
Well, Jeff Gordon, your run not quite as good as it was in practice. You lost 2/10.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. The car was great. I got off at turn 3, took the green. I had more speed going into 1 than I had all day long, and got back in the gas. I mean, the car just felt great. Got back in the gas and real late off. The nose just took off on me. I had to get out of the gas. I knew the lap was over right then, and it's unfortunate because we're going to be starting pretty far back, but we've got a good car. I love Pocono, and that track position is not going to be what we want it to be, but hopefully we can work our way up to the front.
It's pretty cloudy and cool, so why then is everybody going slower in qualifying?
I don't know. I think, we're pushing so hard in practice that guys are pretty much laying those laps out there, but it has been cool and nice, all day long. It's probably actually warmer now than it's been most of the day, so it's hard to say. Some guys will pick up, some guys won't. We didn't. That's all that matters to me right now.
Yeah, guys, it is cool down here, but not as cool as it was this morning, Bill.
Thank you, Marty. There's the 22 Caterpillar Dodge of Ward Burton. It's important to start up front here. No winner in Pocono has ever started deeper than 27.
You've never seen a New York cop like this. Witchblade. Every Monday night. See an all-new episode. Mondays at 9 on TNT.
And back live in Long Pond, Pennsylvania, Michael Waltrip, a threat for the pole. But Michael, what's wrong with the right side of your race car? You didn't like the paint scheme?
I swung too wide exiting the tunnel and got into the wall a little bit, but the Napa guys have done a great job getting it straightened out. It's just like going to Napa Auto Care Center along the highway. You got a problem, they'll address it for you, fix it, and send you on your way. They've addressed it, fixed it, and they're fixing to send me on my way.
Now, was Slugger hard up for talent? Because I saw you also beating on the side of that.
Well, you do what you do as a race car driver. Anytime you wreck your car, you don't leave. You get right up in the middle of the guys, and that way they can't openly talk about you. They can whisper, but they got to kind of keep it quiet if they're going to talk about, what did he do this for? So you just get in there with them so they can't talk about you. That was my MO, and I actually found myself pretty handy in a couple of instances because you got to use big hammers and hit stuff, and using something big and hitting stuff is what got us in this problem to start with.
Well, track temperature has climbed about 10 degrees. Do you feel like that you're going to be able to match your time from practice?
I think so. You certainly are always optimistic that you will. I think as time goes along, maybe it'll cool down some. We're hurrying the best we can to get done, and our time is in the middle, so we should be able to get close to that, and that ought to be a little bit better than going early. It looks like the clouds are thickening up. That could be an advantage. But again, it could break up and get hotter yet, so you just never really know what to expect. But I'm just real proud of the team. They bought me a really fast car here. That was our first lap on the track, basically, when we ran the fast lap. And then we were working on it and trying to improve it, and I just overshot the tunnel a little bit. I don't know exactly why. I mean, I've been coming here for a long, long time, and I don't really know exactly why what happened. I didn't think I did anything overly wrong, but I wound up hitting something, so evidently we did do something wrong.
Well, his best career finish came back in 1988 when Ronald Reagan was still in the White House, the second. But his best start, he's hoping to better that today, which is the 5th. He was 8th fastest, Marty, in the morning practice session.
Well, Matt, it's just hard to follow a Michael Waltrip interview. Jeff Gordon on the track lost 0.2 of a second. His teammate Joe Nemechek lost 0.2. Jeff didn't know why he lost 0.2. Joe does know why he lost 2/10. That is a left rear tire, and that is going flat. That's not good, is it, Joe?
No, you know, it's just, you know, it's a tough break. You know, it's kind of the way our luck's been going here with the 25 car, but, you know, the UAW Delphi Chevy run good in practice. You know, we were like 4th quick, and we lost 2/10, but when I took off of pit road, I couldn't figure out what was wrong with the car. I got to turn 2, getting up to speed, and it turned sideways, and I'm like, this hadn't happened to us all weekend, and it was just really loose both laps, and I was trying to get everything I could out. They told me the time, and I'm like, man, we should be running faster than that, and just couldn't figure it out. But we've got a really good race car. You know, Brian Patty and all this group here at the racetrack did a good job. Motor shop, I mean, motor's running awesome, and I got to say thanks to all the guys back at the shop. This car we had here the first race, and they had to put a rear clip on it, so we're getting good. Want to say hello to Andrew and the kids back at home.
All right, and he was top 10 in practice this morning, but we'll start at the back of the field. Dave, you have another victim, I understand.
I don't know if Matt considers himself a victim. He might have last week, but I want to talk about this week first, Matt. Why are cars slowing down? Does the wind have anything? The temperature? Do you have any idea?
I don't really know for sure. You know, one thing when you come to a real big racetrack like this, usually when the cars sit before qualifying, the rear end gear, the transmission, the wheel bearings, all that stuff gets colder. And whenever you get to a track this big where you take that much momentum and you have that much straightaway, any extra drag on any of the components will make you run a little slower.
All right, well, we'll see what happens on Matt's lap as Ricky Rudd takes to the track. Let's talk about last week. You know, there's a phrase, you had him covered, and you pretty much did until 10 laps to go and then lost that tire. Now, I mean, I know stuff happens, but how disappointing was that to you as a racer?
Well, it's really disappointing, but, you know, you need to think all the way, you know, through your career and through the races. I feel like there's some days you're going to have the best car like that, which it's not very often you have a car that good, but some days you're going to have the best car and you're not going to win the race. And then there's going to be other days where maybe we didn't have the best car and a couple guys in front of you have problems, and you're going to end up maybe winning a race where you didn't have the thing the best. So I believe that it all balanced out in the long run. And you know, if we had to lose the race and everything, it was good to see Ward Burton won. You know, at least when I saw he won and everything they've been going through the last couple months, at least a good guy won.
Bill, you had a question for Mr. Kenseth, I understand.
Yeah, well, Ricky Rudd's on the track. He was the fastest in practice and had a great race here a month ago. But, Matt, I just wanted to know what the phrase "like glue" means.
I was actually just smarting off to my spotter. I was just kind of mimicking him. So he has, you know, if you ever overheard Mike Kalanoff spot, and I'm sure you have, with his deep, you know, Long Island, New York accent he has. And I passed somebody earlier in the race. He says, man, that car's stuck like glue. And he talked so funny that after I passed him, I was just kind of giving him a hard time. So we try to keep it light and have a good time on the radio and kind of rib each other back and forth.
First lap complete for Ricky Rudd, and he's on the provisional pole. Fastest so far of the 5 cars that have run. So I need to apologize to Benny, because Benny said he heard like glue, and I thought Kenseth said cool.
No. Have you ever said cool, Matt, when your race car is really good?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, that's what your guys down in pit road thought you were saying, but it was like glue. We'll be adding that to our racing definitions.
It's hard telling what we're saying sometimes.
Matt, at this racetrack, we saw Ward Burton lose the car out there. How easy is that to do off of these turns?
Well, it seemed like the first time I came here, I was loose in turn 3 and tight in turn 1. But last year, both races and the spring race here, I was real loose off at turn 1, and I was a little tight everywhere else. So I actually spun out in that same exact spot the same way, and didn't hit anything last year at one of the races in qualifying trim. So that's the easiest spot to spin out probably, and that's probably the best spot if you're going to spin out to spin. There's a little bit of banking there. The apron and all the grass and everything's real wide down there, and you can spin out right there and not hit anything. So there's not a lot of places at these racetracks where you can spin out without hitting the wall.
All right, well, don't go try that. Thanks a lot for stopping by, Matt.
Right,
Bill, back to you.
Thanks, Dave. Ricky Rudd ran in 52.859 in practice. His qualifying lap, 52.830. Michael McSwain is happy. Second of his 2 qualifying laps, and after his first lap, a speed of 53.681 miles per hour. And as you can see, substantially off the pace of our current pole sitter, Ricky Rudd.
It sounded like in turn 1 on the first lap, he was out of the gas for a long time. He couldn't get back after it. I don't know if he was having that problem anywhere else, but just listening, it sounded like it took a while to get back after the throttle.
Terry Labonte currently 5th. Ricky Rudd currently on the pole. Let's go down to Marty Snyder with Ricky Rudd.
And you said you felt a little pressure before the run, Ricky. I think you came through just fine.
Well, I choked a little bit over there in the tunnel turn.
Oh, now, come on, you did good.
Well, we left about a 10th on the table over there. I got a little greedy, I guess. This Haviland Taurus was hooked up so good. These guys gave me a great race car here this weekend, and Yates motors, they always fly down the straightaway here. So we're not sure if that's going to be a pole speed, but it's going to be up there somewhere close to the front. And, you know, I'm just real pleased we came here and practiced, and we were off the pace a little bit. Back all the guys, they changed the setup under the car and brought it right back around, and it's a very fast race car now.
And his win here last June, Bill, he sat on the pole for that race as well.
And had a remarkable run here just a few short weeks ago, only to cut a tire to see his teammate Dale Jarrett go on to victory lane. Take a look at the Wendy's race menu coming up this weekend. Here's what we've got to serve up. Tomorrow afternoon, the NASCAR Busch Series Net Zero 250 from Pikes Peak. Alan and Benny will have all the action for you at 3:30 Eastern Time on NBC. Then we're right back here on TNT Sunday afternoon at 12:30 Eastern Time as Pep Boys presents the Pennsylvania 500. And don't forget, our coverage, as always, begins with the Discover Card countdown to green. Morgan Shepherd on the racetrack. One of the 44 cars here this weekend. He's run here 30 times, has 4 top 5 finishes, 10 top 10s, his best finish, 4th twice. And now here in turn 2 is where a lot of these guys, Wally, have made it a little exciting on the first
Well,
lap.
watching his front wheels going through turn 1, he looked like he was driving a sprint car. That car was really loose.
And we'll continue to keep an eye on Morgan. Let's go down to Bernsey. He's got another guest.
And that would be Kurt Busch, Bill, who last week, gosh, I don't know if he should have won the race. He sure passed more cars and was quicker late in the race than anybody, but he had some trouble on the track. How tough was it to make up those 3 laps in the end?
It is tough. I mean, you've got to be in position to win these races, like Warburton said. And I don't think anybody had anything for my teammate Kenseth. He deserved to win, and he ended up with a flat. We got a flat. Ours was early in the race, allowed us to make up some laps. And making up laps, it's difficult because you got to position yourself on the inside lane and race your way and be clean with the leaders. You don't want to be and disturb the leaders, so you want to be cautious and you want to work around it, but yet you want to get back on the lead lap because you got a fast car.
Because you want to be a leader later, and you want them to remember that, right?
Yeah, you can't tip over the apple cart, so you got to make it smooth. You got to work through traffic. We got our 3 laps back, and then we were 29th with 25 laps to go. And with the joke, I just said, hey, Penny, that's 1.2 cars a lap. We made it up to 8th.
That was an incredible run at the end. And you had a crew member injured. Mark DeMarco got injured when you were working on the radiator. What happened there?
When we blew that tire, the tread started coming apart, and it actually knocked the radiator cap loose. So we lost water pressure. So we didn't know where the actual problem was, whether it was a hole in the radiator or if the radiator cap came loose or something else. So when we came in, we pressurized the system and blew the cap straight on, hit DeMarco in the eye, and gave him a scalding on his face because of the hot temperature of the water. So DeMarco's doing okay. He only missed 1 day of work because of the hospital, but he's working hard.
Earlier this year, you had a little bit of success at Bristol. We know you gave that some momentum in this year. Go back to that day. We're going to take a little bit of a look at it. Kurt, what was going through your mind in the final laps as you were racing with Jimmy?
It was an awesome show. We had the lead. Spencer was coming up behind us. We got caught up a little bit in lap traffic. He got to us. I said, this is my day. I want to get right back by him. And we rubbed him up a little bit. I don't know what he tried to do coming out of 2 right there, but he didn't lose any positions. We won the race. He finished 2nd. It was an awesome show for the Rubbermaid Ford that day.
All right, you got a taste for it. I'm sure you want more, True.
Man, we've been close so far this year. We were close at Fontana, close at Charlotte, Dover. So we're running strong. We just need to put it together. I need to run the car at the right times during the race, and we'll be okay.
Kurt Busch is going to be fast in his career here in Winston Cup. We're going to watch him qualify in just a little while here at Pocono as we continue qualifying for Sunday's race here in Long Pond, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, Mike Skinner has just taken the checkered flag after his 2 qualifying laps. Currently 7th of the 8 drivers that have attempted a qualifying run. Morgan Shepherd is 8th of the 8. Ricky Rudd, the provisional pole sitter. Skinner, first lap, and then the second lap was his fastest, 54.124 miles per hour. Go ahead, Wally.
I was just going to say, that's water blown out for those who are wondering.
And you can see how much tape is on the front end of that car too. So and he started, that overflow was working before he even got to turn 1 on the second lap. Yeah.
That looks like my car.
It is. And you want to tell us about the front of that car?
Well, as you can see, the front, that's everything is open there. So all these grills here are open. You'll probably have to put some tape on there for the race and things, but if it's really a hot day and it's a long race, you want to keep as much of that open as possible. But for qualifying, if we get to look at one of these other cars, they cover everything. Everything is covered up with tape.
And here's the Ford of Jeff Burton, and you get a good look there at how they tape up the front end of the car.
See how everything is completely solid. So that's why the water temperature is going up so fast. This is a long place to get around on your get-go lap as well as your 2 qualifying laps. Usually one lap, your water temperature's up there. And if you try to get it in the second lap and the temperature's up, you lose power. So really, that's why 1 lap here is usually the best one.
And it's also an advantage to have that taped up if you can keep it cool enough, because you do get more front downforce.
Right, that actually helps the car stick. It pushes the front of the car, actually the whole car, but it really pushes the nose down into the racetrack and helps those front tires grip in the corners.
Jeff Burton was 21st in practice here today. His best lap in practice, 53.549, and as you can see, significantly off the pole pace of Ricky Rudd.
Well, the guy in second place is 7 cents off.
Right.
So.
Jeff Burton 6th after his first lap.
A little bit high there. Got in there a little bit high. I think he'd probably want to get that car a little bit lower.
He made an interesting statement last week in Countdown the Green that he believes softer walls are less than a year away, and I talked to him about it this morning in the garage area, and he really believes that the technology is getting here faster and faster. Once you get the technology, you can learn how to implement it. And he believes at some tracks it is less than a year away, and that's good news for drivers and for race fans. But that soft wall that we'll see next week at Indianapolis, that isn't soft, is it?
No, none of it's soft when you're hitting it with a race car, that's for sure. But it will be interesting to see what happens in the Brickyard. I think there's a lot of people not anxious to see guys bouncing off the wall, but actually see what happens when it does happen.
Jeff Burton tied with Ricky Craven for 13th in points and currently 6th after 9 cars have made their qualifying attempt here at the Pocono Raceway. Ricky Rudd leads the field early in Bud Pole qualifying. We'll be right back. Back to Pocono, where qualifying continues for Sunday's running of the Pennsylvania 500. We want you to log on to NASCAR.com for our TNT Race Talk quick vote question. Which driver has the best chance of catching point leader Sterling Marlin for the 2002 NASCAR Winston Cup Championship? You can log on and click on your favorite driver there. Is it Martin, Johnson, Rusty, Gordon, Rudd, or maybe somebody else? And we'll let you know how that poll comes out. This is Derek Cope making a rare appearance here in the Winston Cup Series. 44 cars are here, 43 spots. Derek trying to simply get in the field, and he's currently 9th of the 10 cars that have gone. So Derek Cope in the 37 car, 9th out of 10 cars. Ricky Rudd still sitting on the provisional pole. Let's go down to the garage area and Matt Yoakum.
Well, Bill, the Cat guys have already taken out the radiator and starting to blow out a lot of the debris and grass and dirt. Ward, first off, what happened?
We actually had made a qualifying lap, and we taped it up solid, so I know I couldn't make a second lap. And I didn't learn something that I was taught about 15 years ago, that when the car is really loose, it's not going to get any better, and I shouldn't have run through 1 and 2 like I did, and I think I just lost it. That was unlucky, but we're very lucky not to hit anything, so we still got a good race car for Sunday, and we just got to get it good and handling well for me, and we'll be all right.
Now, mentally, how do you bounce back from a disappointment like this, knowing you're going to be starting in the back of the field here?
Hell, we started back of the field everywhere, so it doesn't matter.
That's Ward Burton. He's never won here. He hopes to change that and win back-to-back this week, New Hampshire and Pocono.
And now Tony Stewart on the racetrack. He was 7th in the morning practice session. Wally, you want to kind of walk us through his first lap here? We can listen and see where and when he shifts.
Okay. Well, as you get down to turn 1, let's hear where he gets off. Off the throttle. Well, I didn't even hear a downshift
No,
there.
I didn't
He
either.
may not have downshifted.
So some guys do shift and some guys don't.
Yeah, some guys, if you've got enough motor and you can keep the momentum up, there will be guys that don't shift in qualifying. That's for sure. It sounded like he did.
Now the tunnel turn. See some guys get loose right about there.
Depending on what gear you're in, a lot of times when you downshift, if you carry 3rd gear all the way around, you see some pretty scary RPMs getting into the tunnel turn. I mean, you'll see 92, 93, 9400 RPM. That's a lot of RPMs, but try not to tell your motor guy that. You know, hit that little red button on your tach. Oh, what's the turn?
5,000.
After his first lap, currently fourth, Dave Burns has Johnny Benson on the wagon down there. Johnny, you think he is shifting out there?
Oh, I'm sure he is. Just getting into one. He'll probably downshift just a little bit. It's very hard to hear him downshift. You can usually hear it upshift, but I'm sure he is.
Johnny Benson back on the wagon here, joining us at Pocono after a 2-race hiatus. I know you're just glad to be back in the race car, aren't you?
Absolutely.
How do you feel?
I feel pretty good. You know, the Valvoline guy's been doing a tremendous job. Jerry's been driving the car, Mike Wallace, and they did a great job. I mean, Jerry ran really good up at Loudon. Pretty happy to see that. So let's go out there and do the same thing.
Your first wreck this year that put you out for 6 races, and then the second wreck for only 2 races. How were the ribs injured differently, Johnny?
Well, I mean, I wasn't quite out for 6. I was only out for 3. But it's so this way I'm only out 2. The one that was broken in the back was bad because it didn't allow you to bend over. You couldn't bend over, couldn't put your shoes, socks on, clothes on, stuff like that. But in this particular case, it hasn't really hindered a lot of things. I mean, obviously it still hurts, but it hasn't been as bad of an experience, I guess you could say, as the other.
And what did you do to your seat, Johnny, in the race car to help protect them or to support you differently in your race car?
We're not sure exactly what to do. I mean, we've got Rantley Joy's seat, which is a great seat, and I wouldn't change. And, you know, the guys are just saying just hitting the wall too hard is probably the biggest thing. Now, we did add a little bit of a rib support to it, but don't know if that's going to create any problems or be better or worse. I really don't know. I mean, we're going to try to do some tests and look at the car and find out exactly, you know, what happened or what we can do to do a better job there. But outside that, we got everything in the car the way, you know, the way the safety guys want it and everything. So we're just kind of baffled, except for just hitting the wall a little harder than what we like to see.
Yeah, you never want to do that anywhere with these cement walls. Well, Johnny Benson, thanks for being with us here. We're glad to see you back in your race car. Good luck on your qualifying when you're 5th in practice. So looks like it'd be pretty good.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I mean, I think Valvoline Pontiac run a pretty good lap, and we just got to go out there and see what happens.
All right, we'll see what happens. Tony Stewart finishes his run, picks up a bit. We'll be back with more here at the Pocono International Raceway when we return.
In the garage area this morning, who was going to drive the 14 car? Stacy Compton apparently released via a letter earlier this week. About an hour before practice, they had no one. Then it turned out to be Mike Wallace. So it's Mike Wallace driving for A.J. Foyt this week, and he is 9th after his 2 qualifying laps. Tonight here on TNT, it is the remake of a classic, and this one is just as good. Pierce Brosnan stars in the Thomas Crown Affair, a movie you won't want to miss. 8 o'clock Eastern time tonight on TNT. And Wally, I got 2 words for you. Rene Russo.
Rene Russo, that's an older French open-wheel driver.
No, you need to watch the Thomas Crown Affair, and you'll find out who Rene Russo is. That's tonight at 8 on TNT. Kevin Harvick, Matt Yoakum's new best friend on the racetrack.
He's hanging on there. That's where I tell you the bumps get the car out of shape.
That white
out of
knuckle
shape
time?
there.
White knuckle time?
Yeah.
How's it go? And now the tumble turn, so it doesn't get any easier here. 29th this morning in practice. His last 2 races, of course, the big win at Chicago and then 9th at New Hampshire. All 3 Richard Childress cars in the top 10 last week at the New Hampshire International Speedway. After just 4 top 10s in their 51 combined starts leading up to that. Well, I'd say that's an indication they turned it around. Here's Harvick to the line to complete lap number 1. 10th.
I think that turn 1 deal probably cost him quite a bit.
When these qualifying times go by at the top of your screen, take a good look at what Ricky Rudd ran, 52.83. Right now, Tony Stewart in second, 53.1.
That's a big gap.
That's a huge difference. It'll be very interesting to see if anyone closes that gap. There you can see it right at the top of the ticker. Rudd 52.83 and Stewart second with that 53.15. And nobody's really done much on the second lap.
Although this looks like it may be a little bit better for Kevin. If he keeps getting through here, turn 3 decent, this may be a little bit quicker.
Down to the line and the checkered flag. You're right, up to 6th. So Kevin Harvick does make use of the second lap. All right, right, let's go down trackside where Marty Snyder is supposed to be doing interviews, but is signing autographs from my understanding.
I'm not signing autographs, Bill. Tony Stewart is signing autographs. And this is one of the neat things at Pocono. They have a fence that goes into the garage area, and Tony gets to sign autographs for a couple of hours. So is this neat, or is, you know, this is fun to see these guys like this, isn't it?
You know, the fans up here in the Pennsylvanias, I mean, in the Pocono Mountains, you can't beat them by any means. I mean, they're the most dedicated group of fans you probably find in the country, but they're pretty wild and crazy, we have to admit that.
How about that lap, Smoke? It was a pretty good lap. I'm sure you left something on the table, didn't you?
I wasn't as happy with it as I was earlier today, but, you know, that's just what we got, and we'll take it and go on.
And you're okay from New Hampshire, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and he's going to sign a few more autographs, and now we're going to let Matt Yoakum talk. Matt?
Well, Marty, back in the Citgo garage, Jeff Burton climbed out of his car, and you didn't hide your disappointment. You were obviously very disappointed about that run. You lost 2 tenths. Any idea where you lost it, Jeff?
There's 3 corners, and we lost time in all 3 corners. It's just not a good lap at all. We really disappointed with that. We didn't have a great car in practice. We thought we were a lot better than that, and that's going to be a concern spot. But we'll see if we can make it better for tomorrow and Sunday.
Well, if there's anybody who can win from the back, it's Jeff Burton. He's proved it time and time again. He was 7th. Kevin Harvick knocked him down to 8th.
And on the track, Elliott Sadler finished 10th last week in New Hampshire. Had a spectacular run. Talked to crew chief Pat Trice this morning. He said the car just got too tight on them late in the race, and he wanted to, boy, he got a little loose there, didn't he?
Yeah, he looked like he got through turn 1 really good. Looked like he had to catch it a little bit through 2. Keep an eye on it. 3 here. He's got the car down low, right where you want it. It looks like he's getting it down where he needs to get it.
25th in practice today. And 8th after his first lap. But their car last week at New Hampshire just got too tight late in the race, and they wanted to bring the car home for a finish. And that's kind of one of the reasons Elliott dropped so far back to the 10th place finish. It's still a top 10 for him, and that's very good for these guys. Another example of the front end being taped up.
Yeah, everybody's fully taped to take advantage of that air.
Elliott Sadler on the move after this season, leaving the Wood Brothers team. You can fill in the blank as to where he might be going in the garage. A lot of people have written Yates in there. But we'll have to wait and see. 14th car on the track of the 44 here at Pocono. Second lap for Elliott Sadler in the books. And he remains 8th. 53.678 seconds. And let's make another visit to Coach Burns in the wagon with last week's winner, Ward Burton.
Well, and you know, you might say, well, we've already heard from Ward today, but he was done with his qualifying run, so he came up, thought he'd watch TV here. That's something you and Jeb like to do, right? And Sarah, sometimes just sit around and watch TV, and qualifying's a pretty good show.
Every now and then, it seems like I watch more cartoons than the other time when I'm sitting back with Jeff, but what a great effort for the Cat team last week. Today, we're real loose on that first lap, and the driver forgot something that was taught to him a long time ago. When the car is real loose, it's not going to get any better, and I still ran through 1 and 2 and lost it, but was lucky not to hit anything.
So I wrote that down so that I don't ever forget that if I ever get out on the track. So
I've made that mistake more than 1 time, so maybe that'll be the last time I make that mistake.
Hey, how good are you and Tommy Baldwin working together? I mean, last week you were in the right place to win the race. That's all you really have to do, and then just hope that if you're not leading, other guys make mistakes. But you and Tommy are working great.
We work good together. I mean, he's a go-getter and I'm a go-getter, and I don't think we leave any stones unturned together. My whole Cat crew right there, that they'll have my car fixed here in an hour or so. You know, we win and lose together at the same time. We don't take losing very generally, and so sometimes our emotions get carried away, but at the end of the day, we're still on the same team. We're still focused on being successful together, and we're not have to be reminded of that.
Now, Tommy, of course, is going to be the owner crew chief for a 3-race deal with our Wally Dallenbach. Now, do you think he's going to get some bad habits from Wally? I mean, how's that going to work?
I tell you what, I hope he makes Wally fly, because I know Wally's a good race car driver, and I hope it works out great for him.
That's my teammate.
Well, I guess for 3 races, technically, he would be. Does that help Tommy? I mean, he's working with Wally, but does that help Tommy to run his Busch car?
Well, I tell you what, when we have run the Busch car together in the past, it has helped our Winston Cup effort. When Wally will be able to give Tommy some good feedback and vice versa,
what they learn, we will apply for the next day on the 22 car, certainly.
All right, one of your Dodge compadres here just had an excellent lap out there. Bill Elliott, fast in practice. Bill, he's fast again in qualifying.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Dave. He was third in practice and now currently sits on top with a lap of 52.815. Able to nick Ricky Rudd, bump him back to second.
And he's still in the green on the second lap.
Yep. Green is good, red is bad. Through the tunnel turn.
Wally, tell me what looks the difference of that red car than my yellow car when I was making my lap.
It's still going.
Yours look a little bit more loose than that 9 car right now.
Yeah, he's really digging with that front end, you know. A lot of times you see the back end be loose. It's from the front end pushing the cars back.
Yeah, he's even faster on the second lap.
52.765. So Bill Elliott, looking for his 5th pole of the 2002 season, currently leads the field here at Pocono. Lamisil tablets by Wendy's. Race through Wendy's late night pickup window where you can eat great even late. And by Suzuki, makers of innovative motorcycles and all-terrain vehicles. Visit your Suzuki dealer and see the complete award-winning lineup today. TNT Sports is live at the Pocono Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. 44 cars making the dash for the Bud Pole. Getting ready for Sunday's running of the Pennsylvania 500. 16 cars have attempted the run so far. Bill Elliott is currently the fastest, and just moments ago, Kirk Shelmerdine lost the edge on his car and backed it into the wall. And you saw an example of what happens when something goes wrong here at Pocono, Wally.
Yeah, he got behind on the steering big time. It sounded like he was off the throttle for a long time and really jumped back in the throttle. And that is what you get.
Now, step back from the screen and listen.
That's going to leave a mark.
Yep, that's coming off of turn 3 under the long front stretch. And again, you're trying to get through that turn as quickly as possible because it sets up that run down the front stretch and the entire lap. So Kirk out of the car, obviously very disappointed. It's a nice hand from the fans here and a good crowd here, as always, for qualifying at Pocono. Our current pole sitter is Bill Elliott, looking for his 4th pole of the season. It could be his 5th pole here at Pocono. Let's see. Bill?
Or Marty.
Marty,
I'm going to talk to Bill. You're Bill. This is Bill. You got to quit whipping up on these young guys on Fridays, Bill. What are you doing? And you might get another pole here. You were on the pole last week.
Well, there's a lot of good cars left, and that, you know, that never counts till this deal's over. And I'm old enough to realize that by a long shot. But, you know, I'm just proud of the guys. Like I said last week at Loudon, these guys have really come a long way and really put some good equipment under me the last couple of months, and it's been a lot of fun driving this number 9 Dodge.
Did you not know you had the pole in the first lap because you just really went for it on the second lap and you got even more out of it?
Well, you know, you never know in this sport, and I mean, I just felt like that, you know, you got to do what you got to do, and I felt like we just keep digging. The car temperature-wise was okay, so we just kept hammering it out.
And they have, if he holds on, it would be 9 top 10 starts in the last 10 races, and Billy's a 4-time winner here at Pocono.
And back in 1985, just a little over, 17 years ago, Bill Elliott went to victory lane, and again in July of 1988, and backed it up 1 year later in 1989. Bill's had a lot of success at this racetrack. His 5th Pocono pole would tie Ken Schrader for the all-time most poles here at Pocono. Would be his 4th of 2002, and that would lead all drivers. Matt?
Well, Bill, Kevin Harvick, always the rebel, and being a rebel in qualifying, going for that second lap, paid off. You were faster.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in practice we were faster on our second lap too, and I think some of that has to do with my inexperience here. This is a tough racetrack to figure out which end that you need to be the best on. We've been having trouble getting through the bumps in turn 1, and we were a little bit free off of there and just a little bit tight in turn 3, but other than that, it was a good lap for the Jim Goodwin Chevrolet, and we'll take it. That's better than we usually qualify here, and this is one of our weaker points on the schedule.
Now, you were kind of talking to Gil, debriefing your lap, and you were talking about, oh, thank you for the autograph. We'll put that in the next eBay auction for charity. But you were talking about, you're very animated about how each corner here is so tricky for you.
It is. I mean, each corner is a little bit different. Turns 1 and 2 is
it's not like a 180-degree corner where you come back. It's kind of a partial corner, and it's really bumpy on the bottom, so you can go high or you can go low and try and get through the bump. So, but you still need to get off the corner and get down the straightaway, and then you get to the tunnel turn, it's flat and it's one groove, and then you come over here and you drive it off into nowhere and have to get down this long straightaway. So it's a unique racetrack, but one that I struggle with a little bit.
Well, Kevin Harvick trying to better his 15th place finish, and that'll be a winner in charity for somewhere. That'll go to Kyle Petty's Victory Junction camp for sure.
That's
Bill.
Very, very difficult to read, but it's Kevin Harvick's autograph, and next time you're looking for it, that's exactly what it looks like. Kevin Harvick currently sitting in the 7th position of 16 cars that have qualified. The red-hot Atlanta Braves look to continue their winning ways tonight as they take on the Philadelphia Phillies from Turner Field at 7:30 Eastern Time. It's Major League Baseball's best on TBS. That's later tonight. And the Braves are playing some great baseball, big league in the National League East. We are waiting for the track crews to clean up after the incident involving Kirk Shelmerdine. He's out of the car. The car is on a rollback, but they're cleaning the track. So let's go back to Dave Burns on the wagon with Ward.
And we are just hanging out here for a little bit longer. You're going to get over and help Jeb run a quarter midget here on the property tonight, so you can't stay all day, can you?
No, I can't. I'm excited about that. He does a great job.
Now, how many times has he raced this year?
He's raced 3 times this year. He's won 2 of them, and the other time we let him down mechanically, so he didn't have anything to do with that one, but he's a go-getter out there.
So he'd have some tips for Wally then when he drives Tommy Baldwin's Busch car?
No, I'm learning from him every time I go out there, so maybe I can give the tips I learned from Jeb to Wally. How about that?
There you go. What do you think, Wally? You going to take those tips?
I will take any tip, but I want to know more. We talked earlier. What is it that makes Tommy Baldwin angry?
Oh.
I don't want to do that.
Ooh. Well, I guess the worst thing that can get under Tommy Baldwin's skin is when the car is not performing well, or it breaks, or somebody didn't do what they're supposed to do. You know, he's a good leader. At the same time, he can get a little emotional at times, like all of us, but he's a good fellow, man. He works real hard.
I'm looking forward to it. The second question is, see my car sitting there in front of you? They told you that was my car, didn't they? The TNT car?
This one down here.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that. That's the one that's got the spare seat in it, right?
Yeah, don't you think they should have my name on the roof?
His name
Definitely
is not NASCAR.
so. I mean, because they have been publicizing that you are the brains behind the TNT organization anyway.
They haven't been publicizing that. I know that.
I mean,
what have you been reading?
Well, I mean, every time we go to a show, they're talking about Wiley's expertise behind the wheel and kind of giving everybody, the fans and all, a little bit of feeling of what we're going through.
So they should put my name on the roof of the car, at least.
Exactly, I agree.
Ward, it rhymes with brain.
I'm not going to even go there.
No, I wouldn't touch that either.
I don't get it.
No, okay. So what are you going to do with the rest of your day? You're going to go help Jeb and then race on Sunday. What's your outlook, given where your car was for that one lap?
I think, you know, we have struggled qualifying a lot this year, but the car felt racy. I know that doesn't mean a lot right now, but I feel like the changes that we did from qualifying to when I did make qualifying, we just went overboard. It was my mistake over there, and we just got to work hard and get in track position, get the car to handle as best we can, and be there at the end of the race, not break, not wreck, and see what we got to do.
No, and you proved last week you don't have to start up front. Bill, what is this I hear that Tommy Baldwin is probably not upstairs, but down with one of our pit reporters?
He's eavesdropping somewhere.
He is. What did we say?
Car owners know everything. Hello, Tommy.
How are you, Bill?
How are you?
Oh, not very good right now.
Yeah, well...
You're mad at Ward, aren't you?
Yeah, you're not mad at Wally yet, are you?
No, that's why I got to get a different driver so I don't have to get mad just at Ward.
Wait a minute, he just went to victory lane for you last week.
You're only as good as the last race, and Friday starts over.
Wow.
How about your new driver?
We're excited. You know, it's good to get Wally back in the race car, and hopefully we can put together a real good team for him and be successful for those 3 races.
He wants to know what makes you mad.
Yeah, well, I was asking Ward what makes you mad.
Ward Burton.
Well, that's good. Let's keep it that way.
Yeah. He's still up here, Tommy. Does he know that?
Wally, keep on complaining until he gets it just right for you. Then you know you can go to. Then he'll be smiling when we get it just right.
Keep complaining, and it ends up like the second lap of qualifying there.
Yeah, about like the last lap at Loud Lap.
Yeah.
Now, Tommy, though, that's true, though. You guys really, over the radio, it's pretty animated, isn't it? But you get along at the end of the day?
Well, I mean, we're just fighting for so much and fighting for everything that we can possibly get out of these race cars. And you know, Ward is a competitor and so am I, and you know, we try, you know, every day to try to get better, and it gets frustrating when we don't get better, and that's our biggest thing we're always fighting. But you know, Bill Davis Racing's a great team, and I'm happy to be part of it.
Well, you got a great team yourself, and we look forward to seeing you with working with Wally for those 3 races. Are you excited about it?
Oh yeah, we're you know, we've run about 3 races with the Tommy Bolin Racing team and had some success, so we're going to give them some good race cars, some good horsepower, and we got a lot of help from a lot of different sponsors coming up. We're going to announce hopefully in the next week or so. But you know, Wally and the rest of the guys, you know, we're really pumped up. I just want to get Wally some good finishes here.
Well, Tommy and Ward, congratulations on your win last week, and best of luck here in the Pennsylvania 500 on Sunday, and thanks for taking time to join us.
Thank you, and I really do hope that Wally runs well, or Riley, you're going to learn about Tommy Bolin.
I'll do my best. I'm looking forward to it, but I think it's going to be great. I think he's got a great team, and looking forward to working with all you guys.
You're going to do great, man. We'll be right there to help you, too.
Thanks a lot, you guys. The drama in that story will continue to unfold. We're waiting here for the next car to roll out as they continue to clean the track at the Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania. Kirk Shelmerdine coming off of turn 3, backing it into the wall. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Sports is live at the Pennsylvania 500 qualifying round for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series, and Hut Strickland currently on the track. He is the 17th car to attempt his qualifying run. Didn't performed very well in practice, but so far so good here. 9th of the 16 cars that have run, and I say good because he was 39th on the practice sheet. So Hut at 53.676 miles per hour and only going to take 1 lap, as many of the drivers have elected to do today.
Yeah, sometimes you'll think about taking a second lap, but if you get through turn 1 and you blow it, you just say, okay, that's it. You know you're not going to get any more out of it, and that may have been what happened with Hut.
So he'll coast back to pit road, and qualifying will continue. Sunday, you can experience more in-car camera action with NASCAR In-Car on In Demand. With NASCAR In-Car, you get 5 in-car camera channels with virtual dashboards, real-time in-car data, and live team audio. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN to order the half-season package, only on digital cable. Brett Bodine on the racetrack. And he struggled earlier today in practice as well. 40th. And that didn't sound too good right there.
Well, that's his get-go lap, so you kind of give him that. A little heat the tires. But here's where you got to get through. You got to get through turn 3 on your get-go lap.
Don't forget, tomorrow it's the Net Zero 250 from Pikes Peak. That's on NBC. Allen and Benny and company are there for that. And then we're right back here Sunday afternoon, beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time, as Pep Boys presents the Pennsylvania 500. It all begins with this cover card, Countdown to Green, and a look at the controversial subject of aero push. 2 of the least favorite words in the Winston Cup garage. So Brett's on the clock, his first lap. Just 2 top 5 finishes and 31 starts for Brett here at Pocono. Watch the pace chase as Brett comes around to complete his first lap. And he lands in the 15th spot. 1 more lap to go. We revisit the wagon with Dave Burns and another celebrity guest.
That would be Elliott Sadler, who qualified 10th so far just a little while ago. And I know you weren't happy with that, but that's far better than you've ever qualified here. So is the race car good?
Yeah, I think we got a great race car. Same one we had here the first race. But Pat and the guys took it home, massaged the body a little bit, redid some stuff in the front end to try to make it work better on a flat track, and we were very good in practice. I don't know what happened in qualifying. I thought I was fast. I was loose, which usually means you're pretty fast, but just missed it, I guess, a little bit here, there, and everywhere. With 3 different corners, you can only miss it a little bit, and it adds up a lot here, but we'll be okay come Sunday. It's a great driving car, so we're looking forward to it.
Brett Bodine shuts down after the first lap. Now, I got to ask you, when Bill talked about promoting the aero push piece, you kind of rolled your eyes. You know, it is something that we're talking about here in Winston Cup, how to make the racing better, how to make the cars better. Is there a one thing I'd change solution, or do you have to change a lot of things to make these cars racier, Elliott?
I don't think it's a one thing. These cars have so many different factors that make them run, and it separates the field from the fastest guy to the slowest guy. So I don't think it's just one answer. If it is, somebody would have been found and won every race so far. But what it is, we're making so much downforce with these cars. The bodies are putting so much a hole in the air. It's not letting any hair, you know, go behind the car to the guy behind you. So if you're behind that guy, you're not going to get anything on the front end. You're going to push, and you're going to push, and you're going to push, and it's just, yes, we are going to complain about an aero push, but it makes a big, big difference, especially at the end of the race when everybody's too wide and really racing hard, and you try to get that extra little bit out of your race car each and every corner. Man, you really need some air on the front of that car to make it work.
And it makes your pit stops and your pit stop strategy extremely important, doesn't it?
It is, and last week you see the guys that finished in the top 5 and 10. A lot of them at New Hampshire did not pit that last time. I only did 2 tires, a fuel only, because track position is so important because of that aero push. It's just, these cars run so much better in clean air. Whenever you can, when we put these things in the wind tunnel, we do them by themselves. And we balance our car out front to back. We try to get as much downforce as we can on the front, which makes it drive great. It makes the driver comfortable. It's fast in qualifying. But we don't have that element of somebody's rear spoiler right in front of that car. And it makes a huge, huge disadvantage of force when you're behind them. So it just makes it tough to pass them like that.
Your fellow Ford driver, Dale Jarrett, takes to the track. Let's, Elliott, take a look at his car, and how is it looking as our cameras zoom in on it through the corners?
Well, I tell you, here at Pocono, I mean, it's 3 distinct corners, and but it's long, long straightaways. You see DJ's car right here is right on the ground. It's exactly where you want to be. A lot of people here are running very soft front springs or very soft left side springs, and it looks like he's probably going to have a pretty decent lap. Yeah, that's a great lap. So DJ's, look at his front air dam, almost sealed off going in the front straightaway. See the cars bouncing some. That means Todd Perry's probably got some great hold down shocks on the front of it. Try to get that straightaway speed, that Yates horsepower going in that straightaway. So all they can do to help that.
Trying to watch this car again in turn 3, Elliott. It looked like that time in turn 3, he still got through there really good, but the car, you can see the left front tire actually bounced off the racetrack. He shot up the track just a little bit.
Well, that's a compromise because you got so many bumps here, Wally, like you know, but the more hold down you hold in the shock, it's going to pick that tire up, make it bounce, but you got to give something to get something down the straightaway. It seems like he's shutting it down here in the second lap.
Elliott, let me ask you a follow-up question to that aero push question and the wind tunnel. Why don't you take the front end of another car, or the rear end of another car, and work on that in the wind tunnel?
I don't know. That's a pretty good question. I'm going to ask my crew chief that when I go back over to the pits. I'm going to ask Pat that.
Pat's going to make himself one and bring it down, and it would seem logical to work on cars together, wouldn't it?
It would. But see, this is the problem. Drivers, we want all the front downforce we can stand because we want our cars to turn. We don't want to be tight. We hate being tight in the middle and this, that, and the other. So we put a ton of downforce on the front. We run all the tape we can. But what happens when you get a car handling like that by itself with all that front downforce, and then you stick it in race trim behind another car, everything you worked on, your car is way too tight because there's nothing pushing on the front fender. So it puts you at a big disadvantage. That's something that you probably need to start working on at the wind tunnel and try to transfer it to the racetrack. It's probably going to get that technical down the road. Somebody's going to figure that out and start working with that the longer we go.
Yep.
I've got one more question for Elliott. Where's the rest of your hat?
Hey, man, this is cool. It's different. I'm a golfer, so this is my golfing hat. Yeah,
well, I wouldn't know that.
Hat. You know, everybody's got certain hats they got to wear backwards and sideways, and nobody was wearing visors, so I thought I'd wear a visor.
Some guys couldn't get away with this, right? Because he's got hair up
here.
See,
I got hair. A lot of the guys are bald, so they can't do that.
Hey, when you're playing with Weber, you need to wear a helmet.
Weber, that's bad.
That's another story, Elliott. We won't go there today.
Not coming to my defense, Elliott?
I've never played with you, so I'm not sure. Wally might have played with you before. I'm not going there.
Okay.
Bill, let's take a look at who's on the track. Dave Blaney?
Dave Blaney's out there now. And this is a team that really is taking steps in the right direction. I saw Ryan Pemberton at dinner last night and said, hey, you know, you guys really have shown some things. He just shrugs his shoulders, says, I feel like, you know, it's there. We're just waiting for that big moment.
I tell you, Dave's had a hard luck this year as far as just luck in general. The 77 car seems to run good every single weekend, but the bad luck bug has been them a lot this year, I feel.
He was 13th in the practice session this morning. Dale Jarrett was 16th, is currently 4th on the chart, and Jarrett picked up 2/10 from his practice speed to his qualifying time. So big jump by Jarrett, who of course won here in June, and now Dave Blaney trying to lock in a good starting position for the Pennsylvania 500. His first lap is complete.
7th quick, and something we're not seeing, or we're seeing right now, we haven't seen earlier, Bill, is that sun is kind of peeking through here, and that's going to slow the times down, I think, if the sun comes out and stays. Ooh, he really got out of the throttle there. I'd be surprised if he tries to finish this lap.
So Weber, you're saying we need to turn the air conditioning on down here at the wagon pretty soon? Is that?
That's totally up to you, Burns.
You have to pay the bill.
Bill. I've heard that's bad.
So far, it's Bill Elliott, Ricky Rudd, Tony Stewart, Dale Jarrett, and Mark Martin, the top 5. Joe Nemechek is 6th, and Dave Blaney, the man you're watching now, 7th. Little wiggle there, out of 3.
Still a good lap.
Yep. And his first lap is the fastest. So Dave Blaney locks himself in right now, currently 7th of the 20 cars that have qualified. Bill Elliott leads the way in Bud Pole qualifying for the Pennsylvania 500. We'll be right back.
Steve Park on the track for his second lap of qualifying here at Pocono, and somewhere in the garage area between practice and qualifying, Dale Jarrett's car found a lot of speed. You found 0.2 of a second. Now, we won't tell anyone. Just tell me, you know, where'd you find all the speed at, DJ?
You probably have to talk to our engine guys and chassis guys. They worked on it the whole time, but, you know, we made some adjustments, and obviously when you go to qualify, you like to think you can pick up a little. Could have picked up more than that, but I missed turn 3 down here totally, and that cost us a good bit of time. I would just venture to say probably a 1/10 or 2/10 that I lost there, but that'll get us a decent starting spot, and that's all we need is 500 miles, and got to be there at the end.
Boy, DJ, last week looked like you had one in the bag there at the end of the race, and then it just car got too tight on you there at the end?
Yeah, I got a little bit tight there and just lost a little grip, but can't take away from Ward Burton. I mean, his car came on, and he did a great job there. And, you know, when I had a lead, I'd passed Elliott back. I thought I might have a good chance at that time, but still a good run for us.
And last June, or June here this year, big win for you guys, DJ. Was that the momentum turner for you guys to kind of turn the season around? Because since then, things have been really good for you guys.
Yeah, I think so. You know, this has always been a place that we could come and kind of cure our ails. You know, whenever we're not doing well, this can be a good place for us. Horsepower, obviously, is a big factor here. You have to handle good, and you have to have a good downforce package. But getting down these straightaways is what it's about, and that's always good with Doug Yates doing the engine work. So, but this is a big turnaround for us. Hopefully, it'll kind of continue for us, because these next 2 weeks can be big weeks for Ricky and myself.
Matt Kenseth takes the green on the track. Now, Ricky Qualley says that if you play golf with Weber, you need to wear a helmet. I don't understand that. Do you?
No, I just stand behind him in your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's all you got to do.
And don't be near him when he hits a bad shot, right?
That's when you need the helmet.
A lot of the same things.
That's when you need the helmet, when the clubs are flying.
Yeah, well, DJ, you know, DJ and I would take on you and Elliott Sadler in a 2-man tournament. That sounds good to me, Weber. As long as I have DJ on my team.
I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
You ready for that?
We're ready for that.
Okay.
Elliott, you ready for that?
I think I'm ready. I love a challenge.
All right, that sounds good to me.
Nobody picked me?
Huh?
Well, nobody picked. Well, the thing about Marty
Wally
is
in this draft is the last pick, buddy.
I get you, Wally. Yeah.
Marty puts himself in as an 18 handicap, but it plays to like a 12. That's the big thing with Marty. Okay, let's update a few things. Steve Park with an outstanding run, currently 4th out of the 22 cars that have gone. Matt Kenseth is only going to make 1 lap and then shut it off, and he is 9th after that. And he really was very happy in the garage area this morning, along with Robbie Reiser. Disappointed in the fact that they did not win last week, but happy with the way their car performed and as strong as it was. So he's looking forward to good things they're hoping for this week and again next week at the Brickyard 400. Led 77 laps last week and still ended up 33rd, and that's called driver heartbreak. Now let's just recap the Wally Dallenbach situation here. You are leaving us in certain situations to go compete with these guys in the Busch Series, huh?
Yes. Yep. So we put a 3-race deal together with Tommy Baldwin. Pepsi is going to sponsor the car. We're going to run Michigan, Charlotte, and Phoenix. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back in a race car.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to it. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Snyder?
Well, how about the run for Steve Park? And it looked like a wild lap. Looked a little hairy out there. Was that true behind the wheel?
Yeah, it was. I want to thank good Lord for a good lap. I mean, this Pennzoil team has struggled in the past, but
you know, I was loose in one, I was loose over the tunnel and loose in the last corner, and I came on the radio and said, it was loose, but it was perfect. So, you know, I just want to thank this whole Pennzoil team. Paul Andrews and Dave Charpentier did a good job. Steve Neal's been working with us all week, so, you know, we're grateful for that. But our engine tuner, Richie Gilmore, I mean, he's our head engine builder, but he's tuning on the Pennzoil car this weekend, so we lowered him down to an engine tuner. But
does he get reduced pay this weekend?
I doubt it. He probably get double pay for working on this team. So you know, just all these Pennzoil guys did a great job, and just real thankful we picked up from our practice time. So that's what we need to do. So we have a long way to turn this team around, but we're starting to do that right now.
As we found out, loose is fast if you don't push it too hard like Ward Burton did. But, hey, guys, in the booth, it has gotten a lot cooler down here. And you can really notice it when the wind picks up. It is much cooler. And I'm sure that's cooling down the racetrack and speeding up the times.
Yeah, we thought the sun was coming out, and then all of a sudden it went back in. And you're right, it has cooled down. So that is going to help.
Here is Steve Clark's DEI teammate Michael Waltrip. One note on Clark, he had the biggest smile in the garage area this morning. Very happy with the situation. There was an excellent article on him at NASCAR.com this week about how he has readjusted his focus as for his future. You might want to try and click on that and check that out later today. Right now, Michael Waltrip, who was 8th fastest in practice earlier today, 3rd in a car that has already brushed the wall, and the team went to work on it, and now Michael 3rd on the chart. That's when you really know your guys are busting it for you, don't you?
Yeah, that's a good lap. The car looked really good through turn 2 both those times. A little bit loose the first time, and that time there he had a nice 4-wheel drift going. So he's real comfortable with the car to be able to drive it like that.
Currently 3rd, trying to see if he can improve it. Michael Waltrip on his way to the checkered flag to complete lap number 2. Let's see. No, first lap is fastest. First lap, 52. Oh, check it out. Second lap is fastest.
Just a little bit better.
Yes, you're right. 52.889. So Michael Waltrip, second lap is fastest, currently 3rd, trailing Bill Elliott, and Ricky Rudd here at Pocono.
Welcome back to Pocono, Pennsylvania, where Ricky Craven is on the second of his 2 qualifying laps. First lap, actually, he is going to shut it down right now. His first lap being a whole lot better than he practiced. 31st place, he comes in 7th. With a lap of 53.333 seconds, which translates to 168.75 miles per hour. And on the wagon, we were commenting just what a great pickup that was for the 32 car. We being Elliott Sadler, who remains with us, and also Jeremy Mayfield, 2-time winner here at Pocono, who joins us for a segment here. And Jeremy, compared to where he was practicing earlier, that's a pretty good pickup, isn't it?
Yeah, it looked good, and second lap didn't look so good. I think we tried to catch it for him, didn't we?
Yeah, it was bad. It was loose.
Real loose. Looks like the track's really loosened up today, and who knows? We'll go here shortly and find out how loose it really is.
Now, we saw at least one driver continue on that second lap, but basically, if you blow one corner, you know pretty much it's over with, right?
Right. I was surprised to see Bill run a second lap. I know they were fast, and then he come back and it was even faster. So hopefully our Dodge dealer's Dodge will be as fast as his, and we'll be in good shape there.
Well, what about that? You got the old man out there doing extremely well here. You've got all this pressure on you now as the young guy.
It's not the old man, I can tell you that.
I don't think Bill likes you calling him old man.
Oh, he didn't hear that.
And every time you say that, he runs faster, so it makes it harder on all of us. But no, I'm just I'm proud to be his teammate. I mean, he's awesome, and Casey's on the pole in the ARCA race, and hopefully we can just get up there somewhere close. And it'd be nice to see all Dodge front row. It'd be pretty cool.
Well, I know you wish you could run as well as each other do every week. What kind of a motivation is it to work with Bill and to have him as a teammate? And actually, let me ask this too, with Ray Everingham, to work as the owner with him.
Right, it's been real good, and I was trying to find Bill earlier, and hopefully I'll find him before I go out to qualify, just to find out some pointers and figure out what the track was like and stuff. So he's just been really good, and I say awesome all the time. It's been awesome to work with. That's awesome, Bill. And the whole team has. I mean, the 9 car and the 19, you can't really tell there's a difference. Everybody works for one goal, and we're just trying hard to get the 19 up where the 9 is. And the more you guys start calling him old, that's going to make it harder on me. So we're pretty
Sorry
tough.
about that. We see Kurt Busch taking to the track now. He's on his warm-up lap, getting started here. Jeremy, how much confidence does it give you, though, walking into a track where 2/3 of your wins have happened right now at this place?
Well, I thought I had a good record here. I was watching Bill qualify on TV, and it showed him like 4 wins here, so he's even got me there too. So, but it makes a lot better on the team and driving everybody coming to a place that you won at, and you know you can win there. And I just love Pocono. I love being here, and just been good to me. And hopefully we can have another good weekend this weekend on Dodge.
My mistake. That was Kurt Busch. Thanks, by the way, for that answer. My mistake on Kurt Busch finishing his lap. It looks like the only lap of record. He will come in 12th with a lap of 53.488 seconds, and that's 168.26 miles an hour. And so we, as we watch Kurt finish up, Jeremy, what do you need to do to your car after practicing earlier today? What did you do to it to try to get a good qualifying lap out of it?
We made a lot of changes, and a lot of them were kind of towards what the 9 had. You know, gear ratios and springs and shocks and all that stuff. So we're real close to what Bill's got now, and hopefully, like I said, it'll drive like his. But I think one thing going out late like that, we've been able to see that the track's definitely loosened up a little bit, and hopefully we'll tighten it up and be in good shape here.
All right, we wish you well as you head out in a few cars to get out there. Elliott's going to stick around. We're going to send Jeremy away, and right now, we're going to go to Marty Snyder.
And I'm hanging with Michael Waltrip, and yes, he did say that. Anyway, Michael and I are having a conversation, but you rarely hear a driver get out of the car and say it was perfect here at Pocono, and that's what you said. It was perfect. Was the car really that good?
It handled really good. If anything, we turned a little bit too many RPMs, maybe a little bit higher gear with the cool weather. We could have run faster, but what a great job Slugger and the boys did putting her back together. When Matt come to interview me, all he wanted to do was show the wreck side, the side that doesn't have any Napa Auto Parts decals or numbers on it. I want to stand by this side. I want to show you the pretty side. Slugger just did a great job with the car today, getting it tuned up after I made the mistake over the tunnel, and I'm real proud of my whole team for the effort. And we conspired with Junior on our setups, and hopefully he can run what I run.
Well, he's out there running right now, and your other teammate did pretty good, too.
Yeah, Steve's on it. Everybody's got, everybody at DI works so well together, and Slugger has really brought some setups and some thinking to the party that are a little bit different than what we've used in the past, and I'm real proud of what he's accomplishing for us. Our cars are really good week in and week out. We stumbled last week at New Hampshire and still finished 20th. Hopefully this week we can get a little bit better.
I don't think it ever runs out of ways to get the sponsors in. As your teammate's 5th, you're 3rd, and Park's up there as well. It's not bad for you guys, Mikey.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. bumping Steve Park back to 6th. Jr. was 10th in the practice session this morning. Started 3rd here. Check that. Let me update that for you. Dale Earnhardt Jr. started 14th here and finished 12th just a month ago.
This right here is a better lap, according to our pace chase. The second lap should be faster. Got a little bit sideways here. A little bit loose in 2.
Has to help you when 2 of your teammates have gone out ahead of you. Hustling down to take the checkered flag. This is going to be better, I think. You're right, Wally.
It was better, but yeah, not a position better, but a little quicker on the watch.
2/100ths of a second.
You're better at math than some other people that hang out in this booth.
5th.
Got real hot. About 2:35. 10-4, that shouldn't be too bad. Just flip your swaying fan on there.
You see how the front of that car is taped up, something Wally's been talking about throughout qualifying here. Junior 53.17, 369.259 miles per hour. He drifts back to pit road, and here is Johnny Benson making his return to the Winston Cup Series after sitting it out after the hard crash in the Pepsi 400 at Daytona.
One thing, you know, the temperatures right now from where we started, track temperature is about 7 or 8 degrees cooler. So that's actually better on your lap, but it's a little bit tougher getting the heat in the tires on your get-go lap. So you got to hustle a little bit harder when you leave pit lane to get to the green, just to get the temperature in your tires.
Johnny Benson still looking for his first career win. 2nd place at Bristol, 2nd at Dover, his best. Finished 5th here in this race 1 year ago. Missed a few races earlier in the year, made his return after that incident in the first race here at Pocono. Now after sitting it out, makes his return here. And was good in practice. Jumped right back in the seat and was 5th in practice this morning.
He got through turn 2 real good.
Chasing the time of Bill Elliott. And the completion of lap number 1 for Benson, 6th. How do you look, Elliott?
I thought he looked good. I'm like Wally. He got through the tunnel turn really good. So pretty impressive. He's going to try it again, it looks like. By this pace chase, Bill Elliott must have got off turn 3 a lot better than everybody else. Seems like everybody's pretty close to him, but everybody loses a lot of time off turn 3. So I'm glad I got to see some of that. I might need to work on that for practice.
Focus on turn 3 next time.
Yeah, for Sunday.
They love this car, by the way, Bill. This is one that James Ince ran for him in Michigan and also in California. It's his crew chief, and he said he couldn't dig it up because they want to run it next week at Indy, too.
Elliott, you guys find a car that you like, and you'll take it a lot of places, won't you?
We will that. We'll take it everywhere. I got one particular car. I think I've ran 70% of the races this year, and I got both my outside poles with us. So it's like an old shoe.
Benson up to 4th. So Johnny Benson off the recovery from the broken ribs at Daytona, 4th of the 27 cars that have qualified so far, and I can assure you that JB is smiling right now. Let's check in with Marty Snyder.
I'm afraid of losing control of the show, but Michael Waltrip requested that he could interview his teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr., so here you go.
I promise, guys, no dumb questions either. Check this out. Junior, this track's tough. Even though you see rookies have success early, it takes a lot of years to really feel comfortable here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
How'd you like how I did that?
That was good, Mike. Good job. You had a lot of practice, though. I've been coming here since, what, 98, maybe 99? And it's just, you can't never learn. Every time I go out, it's like, my first time. So it's, yeah. But a good lap. Thanks for the setup.
Yeah, Oh, I get another question? I must have done good the first time. The setup, I'm telling everybody, there's no egos at DEI. If I run better than you do, I want to come tell you what I got so I can see you go better. And that's the way it is from me to you to the one car and all down the line, isn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't be happier where I'm at. I mean, this program, it seems like we keep learning new things and keep making it better. But, yeah, I appreciate the setup. You know, it comes back around. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
You did such a good job, you can have a third one if you want.
Okay.
I think you're tired of answering your questions.
What do you think for Sunday? You ran good here in the last time or not? Or are you happy? You think you got a good setup? I mean, I'm stumbling. I'm struggling now, Matt.
Come on.
I know now. I got to tell you one thing.
Yep.
I know why now I see Matt standing around rehearsing all the time. He's got him a pad of notes. He's talking. He's going over and over. And I see you walking around in circles talking to yourself. I guess there's just more to this when the producer says, ask him another one, ask him another one. You're not ready for it.
We just thought it was crazy, but now we know it's crazy. Thanks, Junior.
Hey, he has an excuse.
Yeah, I'm not crazy, actually.
Anyway, I have to take control of this thing. So nice lap, Junior. Thanks for doing my job, Mikey. See you later. Bill?
Thank you, Marty. Stay safe down there. Yeah, how about that?
He was fast off of 3 on his get-go lap. He was fast through turn 1. And then he lost a little bit in 2 and 3.
Well, look
Still
at this.
green, I know it. And this is where he was fast the last lap.
I tell you, he's in the green right now, guys, with the in the red, but that car's low to the ground. That's good. Just fast straightaway speed like that. But he has been good off turn 3, so I think if he's this close by the time he gets to turn 3, he's got a good shot at it.
And you said that's where Elliott made a lot of time.
It seemed like it. Yeah, it seemed like he did, and Newman looked good there last time, like Wally said. So we'll see what happens. Oh, he's cutting it off. He's cutting it off.
If he knew he was in the green through turn 2, he probably wouldn't have shut it off that much.
Not have been listening.
You want pace chase on your dashboard next week, Elliott?
Yeah. Is there any way y'all can work that out for me? A little pace chase on the dash for next week or Sunday maybe?
Hey, you know, we were watching Michael Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Doing their thing. Do you ever feel at a disadvantage working with a one-car team? Or do you have enough help? What do I want to say? Ancillary help, people around you.
team.
Well, 6-car team.
Yeah. It's hard. It's just like Mikey and Dale Jr. just said. At the racetrack, right here, you only get 2 hours of practice with a teammate that the car's built in the same shop, same bodies. You can just flip-flop notes or what have you and go out there and qualify. You don't have to practice it or whatever. You think you're going to be close. In our situation, yes, we do get help from Roush, but it's not the same exact bodies or the same exact cars. So we would be scared to just take something right out of one of those guys' cars and put in hours to go qualify, kind of like the 8 just did. So I think from that standpoint, we might be a little bit behind, but as hard as we work on ourselves and communicate with them, coming to the track, I think we're okay. But where the advantage is right here at the track, 2 hours of practice. I think it narrows that margin up a lot.
So if you were to, move to a different team, would you try to make that a situation where you had at least one teammate, Elliott?
Yeah.
We haven't given you away this.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. I'm really looking forward to to working with a teammate, maybe in my new adventure. I remember running Busch Series with Jeff Green as my teammate, and we would just feed off each other one after the other, and it really helped both teams. I really believe in the concept with one team, two drivers. So I kind of hope whatever happens next year, that situation happens. We see John Andretti's in the green, guys, going through the tunnel turn. So
and Wally, he'd be a little faster, but he went high and out of one.
Yeah, he got in one really good. The car moved up. Like we were talking, Elliott and I were talking earlier, the cars are so bound down. You get in those bumps down there, and it actually just pogo sticks up the racetrack.
John Andretti was second in practice this morning. We talked to him earlier. He said he wanted to make a strong run at the pole. Fourth after lap number 1. 53.009.
Still going after it.
Yep. His starting position so far this year was 11th at Michigan. We thought he had a shot at the pole last week at Cloudy. Didn't work out, and he's given up after one lap.
Yeah, I think there again, he got through turn 1 and decided he didn't get through one like he wanted to, and just said, that's it.
So John Andretti, fourth out of 29 cars that have made their qualifying run for the Pennsylvania 500. Plenty of cars and lots more excitement coming up. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. The Pocono Raceway, qualifying continues. Robbie Gordon, the second of 2 laps. The first lap, Wally, was an adventure, landing him 23rd.
Yeah, the first lap through turn 1, he was all over that steering wheel. The car did a nice save on it. He's a little bit better up to this point.
Down to get the checkers and completing his qualifying run. Second lap just a tick faster, 53.614 seconds. And that moves him up to 17th. Marty?
Johnny Benson is 5th, and look who's bucking for more airtime. Michael Waltrip wants to do another interview. No, you cannot.
Mikey's
They've got
their
he's already injured you enough. I mean, you know, you took him out in Daytona, made the man sit out for 2 weeks. Get out of here. I'm sorry. Sorry it hurts.
That hurts.
Yeah. Talking about who's hurt. This poor guy who's out for 2 weeks. This is a way to come back, though, Johnny. Great qualifying run for you guys.
Yeah, you know, James and guys, they do a tremendous job. And this car's pretty good. I mean, so we ran at Michigan, ran it at, I believe, California. Jerry tested at Indy, and it was pretty good. So, you know, we just did everything I could. I thought it was going to be a little bit quicker, but that's pretty loose to 3 down there. But still, we'll take it and go from there.
Best part about this whole deal, we got Mikey away from you know.
I asked Mike, is you in front of me or behind me? He goes, in front of you. That ain't good, is it? Well, we'll see how it works out.
Exactly. There you go. Johnny Benson with a nice run and coming back from his injury, guys.
5th in practice and 5th of the 30 cars that have run so far. Here is the Winston Cup point leader, Sterling Marlin. On the track for the first of his 2 qualifying laps. He was 20th in practice. Started from the pole here in June because no qualifying was held because of water problems with the track. Finished 4th. It's a Dodge currently on the pole, and Sterling would like to put another Dodge up there. He's only qualified in the top 10 twice this season. Rockingham and Chicagoland. Struggling a bit right here.
That should be top 6. No, 9th.
That's close to 6.
That's close to 6.
It's upside down 6.
That's what I meant.
I thought you didn't do math, Weber.
I do math.
Oh, that was Alan.
Alan doesn't.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Alan's doing his math in Colorado. He and Benny getting ready for the Busch race. The Net Zero 250.
I think Sterling's had enough. He's still on it. Now he's hopping.
Did you make up your mind?
I couldn't tell either.
Yeah. Oh, you drivers always stick it together.
We're deaf, man. We can't hear.
Well, we were saying when you go through that first turn, you slow it down so much, you're hard on the brake. Sometimes we can't tell if you've actually
That's right. And
cut it off or not.
One thing about Sterling and those guys have been qualifying a lot better here lately. I was talking to Sterling this week. They went to Kentucky, I think, during the break before Daytona, to go through some things. They felt like they had lost an edge from the beginning of the season. Seemed like they got it back, man. They've really been running good. So they're looking pretty good this weekend so far now.
Bill Elliott, Ricky Rudd, Michael Waltrip, John Andretti, Johnny Benson, the top 5 as qualifying continues at Pocono. Flying for the Pennsylvania 500 on TNT is brought to you by Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Burn fat, crush cravings, and supercharge your energy. By Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. And by Mobil 1. The more you know about new Mobil 1, the better it is for your car. Casey Atwood has completed his 2 qualifying laps.
He picked it up a bunch on the second lap.
Sure did. He was like 26th, yeah, and then currently 14th. And Casey is on the pole for an ARCA race they will run here tomorrow. And I talked to car owner Ray Evernham this morning, and he said Casey is doing 2 things. He's testing equipment that they can use in the Winston Cup Series, and he's hoping to build his confidence. That Casey really needs some confidence on the racetrack by going out there and having a good solid run. Well, let's check out the John Andretti story that we've been following since we came on the air. There's John, and that was the back of Marty.
Perhaps, yeah, that was me crossing.
Perhaps
Sorry.
his best side.
You're supposed to yell crossing when you do that. Anyway, John, nice run for you. You said you wanted to back it up. Did you leave something on the table, though, where you could have maybe picked up a little bit more?
I left a lot on the table. It's real unfortunate because the weather, unlike last week, is I picked a better number, so I got the clouds and things, but I didn't take full advantage of them, and I left a lot over in the tunnel turn, so it's real disappointing. But Jerry's been really quick, and Kyle's been right there too. So we'll see. Both of them probably bump me on back, but that's okay. They're my team. It's not okay, but they're my teammates.
It's okay, but it's not okay, right?
Well, it's more okay if Kyle does because he pays me. But yeah, Jerry doesn't pay me. He just likes me.
It's his first year.
He likes me. Anyway, he's my teammate. He's supposed to.
All right, I'm glad we cleared all that up, but it has certainly been a turnaround of late for Petty Enterprises, guys.
And this is the latest change at Petty Enterprises. Jerry Nadeau now behind the wheel of this 44 car for the rest of the season. Had that outstanding run at Sears Point before the car broke late in the race. Buckshot Jones started the season in this car, drove 7 races. Steve Grissom drove in this car for 9 races, and this is Nadeau's second appearance. And his first lap lands him 9th. Hasn't bumped Andretti back yet.
I don't think he's going to take the second lap either.
But this is a big chance for Jerry Nadeau after the great run he had at Sonoma, at Sears Point, and now looking to make a seat for himself for the future at Petty Enterprises. And as you said, Wally, 1 lap, 9th. And a good debut for Jerry Nadeau in this car here at Pocono. It's Elliott, Rudd, Waltrip, Andretti, and Benson. And we'll be right back to Pocono in a moment. Sports is live at the Pocono Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania, as Bud Pole qualifying continues for the Winston Cup Series, leading up to Sunday's running of the Pennsylvania 500 that we'll have for you live right here on TNT, beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time. Right now, Kyle Petty is currently on the racetrack, the second of his 2 laps. His 2 teammates, John Andretti, 4th, along with Jerry Nadeau, 9th. Kyle, 30th after his first lap.
Yeah, obviously he wasn't. Hang on. That was loose there, Bill. Not real happy with the first lap the way it felt, so he figured he better go ahead and run a second lap.
Kyle, of course, involved in that hard crash last week at New Hampshire. Coming around to get the checkered flag. And the difference in his laps, 2 1/1000ths of a second, which results in 166.13.
How can that be?
You can carry it out 1 more decimal.
Okay.
And let's check out Kyle's newest teammate, Jerry Nadeau, hanging out on pit road in that yoke.
And Jerry Nadeau, 9th fastest in practice and 9th fastest in qualifying. How big is that lap, Jerry?
It was good. I mean, the car is real decent. It's it's not super fast like Ricky's or Elliott's car, but it's really good. It's conservative. It's comfortable to drive. My teammate John ran a good lap. He's up there in the top 5. So so far things are going well. I mean, this is a good team, and you know, hopefully we can have a good run this weekend, and I'm looking forward to Sunday's race.
You've had a lot of, it seems like the luck has started to turn for Jerry Nadeau. You had a great run going at Sonoma, could have won the race, but a mechanical problem. You've had some good runs of late.
Yeah, like I've always, I mean, I haven't done anything different. I mean, I've been doing the same thing, just driving my butt off every time I get in a race car. And these guys have been giving me good race cars, and everybody else has. So it's just when you got good chemistry and good people behind you, you know, it makes a driver look good.
That's the toughest part of the business, Dave, chemistry. You can't buy it. You have to form it. It's tough to form.
One of the other things that they've got to form to themselves, Matt, are the seats that they race in. And Elliott and I were talking about the fact that Jerry Nadeau, having driven for 2 different teams this year, had to have some seats delivered to the 44 team before he could even get started. How important is that to have the seat now customized for your safety and comfortableness? Comfortableness, is that a word?
I think it is.
During the race.
We'll use it here at Pocono.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks.
I just think we're so far light years ahead now with the seats. I think 2 or 3, 4 years ago, you could just sit in somebody else's seat or just throw one in, and it don't take you 3 seconds to buckle up. But now with all the safety devices around them, everything's so custom fit to your shoulders, your chest, your ribs, everything, and everybody's got different types of seats. It takes a long time to get those fitted into the car. Sometimes they got to move the seat rails in and out between different drivers, so it's a long, drawn-out process. But that's how much further we have come as far as safety. The drivers feel safer in them. The crews feel safer for us, and everything's just, they're trying to build like a little tunnel around us that we've never had before. So
hey, Elliott,
it takes a little time.
Elliott.
Yes, sir.
But when you're out of a ride and somebody asks you to drive their car, you'll fit in any seat, won't you?
A 5-gallon bucket and duct tape will do me just fine.
There will be lots of comfortableness no matter what seat he sits in, right? Yeah.
Comfortable but goodness. Is that what you said? Good.
Yeah, that was
good
one
work.
extra
Good
syllable.
word,
Boy, oh boy.
Well, you know, it used to be the drivers would carry their seat from car to car, but now there are multiple cars. And I mean, what happens? Like, you're changing rides this year. Does your team sell to the next team to have your seat, or do they build all new stuff for you?
I don't know what's going to happen on that yet. I'm very comfortable with my seats, but we just had a safety meeting at Indy a couple of weeks ago with Dr. John Melvin, and showed us some new seats and some new ways of maybe doing things. So I might try a new seat out here or later this year to see before I order 14 or 15 or how many other seats you need. But safety's always going in the right direction, so sometimes you maybe shouldn't stay stagnant. You might need to move ahead. So I haven't got that far yet.
All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed your seat here on the wagon today. Elliott, we really appreciate you stopping by, and we'll let him go and attend to the other things that he has to do here at Pocono to get ready for Sunday's race.
Thank
Phil?
you, guys.
Thank you, Elliott. Well done. Don't get too much better at this, okay?
Yes, sir. I'm having a ball.
Okay. Well, Jeff Green was 27th in practice this morning, currently 20th. And talked to him this morning, and you can imagine how good he feels. Last week on the Countdown to Green, said his first win he believes is coming, and then finished second at New Hampshire with a strong run, and has a couple of top 5 finishes in his last 4 races.
Yeah, he's quietly run really good. And, boy, you know, last week was a great race for those guys, and they've been running really good all year long, so they're going to sneak up and get one.
He was 5th at Sonoma, 12th at Chicago, and then the 2nd place last week at New Hampshire. Now the green car, Bobby Labonte takes the green flag, and he'd like our pace chase to stay in the green. But it's not there yet. This team making the move to Chevrolet. Maybe sooner than a lot of people think.
How soon? Come on, Bill.
You never really know. I won't believe it until I see it, but you hear things, you know, Wally?
Yes.
Although they will be in Pontiacs next week at the Brickyard from what when you talk to the team in the garage. But a lot of things change on Tuesdays for Sunday races.
That's right. Lots of things change on Tuesdays.
Bobby Labonte swept these races.
That's just struggling right here.
1999, won both races. Hasn't had a top 10 finish since his win at Martinsville. Finished 25th here just a few weeks ago. Guess it's worth pointing out he's the defending race winner. That was his first victory as a NASCAR Winston Cup champion. But 30th after his first lap. And things not looking up here, are they?
No, the numbers are climbing quickly here.
really look like the car is out of shape
or anything. Uh-oh. That could be some of the problem.
Something blew up.
No kidding.
Know what it was.
Boy, you got to be hanging on when that happens, don't you?
It's obviously that may have been the problem, because if the motor was tightening up, or if it was in the rear end of the drivetrain, obviously it looks like, boy, there's a lot of fluid coming out of the bottom of that thing.
Sure is. Look at that. Okay, well, NASCAR will check the track, and Bobby Labonte pulls it behind the wall. 30th on his qualifying lap. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Well, welcome back live to Long Pond, Pennsylvania, qualifying for the Pennsylvania 500 for the Winston Cup Series. And that shot right there says a lot for Bobby Labonte so far this season. 20th in points, the 1 win, but just 3 top 10 finishes, 2 DNFs, and struggling here in qualifying. So I guess you could say to this point it's been a tough season for Bobby Labonte, and he's looking for some help to try and turn things around here in the second half of 2002.
Back at Charlotte, and the TNT team is ready to go to work on the 18 car. Uh-oh, Burns has problems with the right rear.
16, 17, 18,
Come on, boys, the season starts today. Wally, you said these guys would help turn my season around.
Wally, you said you were going to help turn his season around.
I said you guys were going to help turn his season around.
Well, this might be the place he can do it. Defending champion of this race, walking back to the garage area after this incident on his qualifying lap.
Yeah, you see the smoke coming out the back and the fluid. He, what we call, grenaded that one.
Disappointment for Bobby Labonte. Let's check out a situation. Marty Snyder walking alongside.
And the trail of liquid follows Bobby Labonte's car, and you guys look to this weekend, Bobby, as a place where you could maybe turn things around. Did it give any indication it was going to let go?
Yeah, it didn't run worth darn both laps. It just, I mean, it was something was wrong with it, and didn't think it was going to blow up, but just felt like it surged like fuel or something like that, like it was missing out on fuel, and so it finally blew up. So here we get to put another one in.
I guess the good thing is that you do get to put another one in, and it didn't happen in the race.
Well, that's true, and we're not going to miss any practice for tomorrow, so we'll put it in. We'll go from there.
And you got to take the positives where you can find them. They will be in the field, obviously. They will have to start at the back of the field because they did qualify on the other engine, however.
That's a long walk back to the garage area, and Bobby Labonte, 30th of the 36 cars that have made a qualifying attempt here at the Pocono Raceway. Bill Elliott, Ricky Rudd, Michael Waltrip, John Andretti, Johnny Benson, Newman, Stewart, Jr., Nadeau, and Marlin, the top 10. For the Pennsylvania 500 on TNT is brought to you by Lamisil Tablets. By Wendy's. Race through Wendy's late-night pickup window where you can eat great, even late. And by Suzuki, makers of innovative motorcycles and all-terrain vehicles. Visit your Suzuki dealer and see the complete award-winning lineup today. We're live at the Pocono Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Qualifying being tentatively held up after Bobby Labonte, to use Wally Dallenbach's terminology, grenaded an engine during his second lap.
Did he say that?
You said that.
I said that.
Yes, you did.
Yes,
I was right here.
Okay.
I recognize you. And that left Bobby 30th of the 36 cars. There are 44 cars here at Pocono, all trying to grab the pole position. And boy, these guys have just really struggled this season. But Bobby won here a year ago. Might go to victory lane on Sunday. We'll see. Pennsylvania 500, 12:30 Eastern time, right here on TNT. Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Spencer, in his home state, ready to rock and roll. On the target dodge. And this is a guy who would dearly love to perform well here. Alan and Benny are in Colorado for the Net Zero 250. We'll see at 3:30 Eastern time tomorrow on NBC. And then they get on the shuttle and we'll head back here and join the rest of our NASCAR on TNT crew for the Pennsylvania 500, 12:30 Eastern time for the Discover card, countdown to green. And if you miss countdown to green, you start the Pennsylvania 500 a lap down. And you never want to do that.
Never. Don't want to start a lap down.
Spencer was 34th in practice this morning. Has 5 top 10 starts this season. But his best starting position in the last 11 races was 13th at Michigan.
Well, he did sound like he got after the throttle there real good. Looked a little bit tight getting off a 3, getting the green, and that time looked like the car was bouncing quite a bit over those bumps. And he really couldn't get after the gas, I think, as fast as he'd like to.
Spencer finished 21st here a month ago after starting 18th from Berwick, Pennsylvania. And you know he's got a lot of fans that come to this racetrack. What does Benny say? Not too good.
Not too good. I'd see if he takes a second lap. I think once he hears what this lap is, he probably will try a second lap.
31st after his first lap.
Gets through one any better. He got through one better that time.
Down the long pond straightaway toward the tunnel turn.
That looked a little better. He doesn't lose a whole lot of time here in 3. Shouldn't improve on his time there. That corner, when you're sitting in a race car, it's like it's flat as a board.
Yeah.
And when you walk it, you can't believe it. Drivers can't believe how much banking there is. Because when you're in a race car, it feels flat. A little bit better.
Well, jumps up to 29. Won't be happy with that. 53.739.
0.3 of a second. And only picked him up 2 spots. Am I doing the math right there, Bill?
You're close.
Okay.
So 37 of the 44 cars have completed their qualifying attempt. Bill Elliott leading the way, 52.765 seconds, 170.56 miles per hour. And this is Carl Long. His only other race this season was the first Pocono event. He finished 42nd. He has no owner points, so he must qualify in the top 36 to make the race. So right now, Morgan Shepherd is sitting 36th at 55.30 seconds. Carl Long would dearly love to beat that mark. So that's the pace chase for the pole, but he's the pace chase for 36th. And hoping he doesn't get bumped back. And there's still quite a bit of fast talent left to go here as well. Dave Burns?
Well, Bill, I was just going to ask Wally, if you're in Carl's position, you haven't made a lot of races, do you set up to run 2 laps, or do you tape everything off and run one really hot lap?
Well, it really depends on what the car wants to give you, Dave. I mean, you've got to go out there, and if you feel like you're going to get everything you can out of it for 1 lap, that's what you got to go for.
So if you think tires will come in, heat up a little bit for the second lap, go ahead and set it up for 2? Or will you not get that much advantage here?
Well, I think you have more of an advantage on the tape than you do the tire, especially with these temperatures right now. The temperatures are really cool, so it should be, the tires should be working fine.
Oh, 36. 55.025. But that will never do it. Still to go, Rusty Wallace, Jeremy Mayfield, Bobby Hamilton, who was 6th this morning, Jimmy Johnson, Ken Schrader, and Jeffrey Bodine, all yet to make their qualifying runs. So Carl Long needs to find a bunch of speed and have a lot of hope. He's to make the starting field for the Pennsylvania 500 here on Sunday afternoon. looks down. Checkered flag for Carl Long. First lap was fastest. He's right on the bubble at 36th. Matt?
Well, Bill, a great day for Jimmy Spencer yesterday with your celebrity golf tournament. Today, though, on the racetrack, 29th fastest. Jim, I know you're not happy because this is your home racetrack.
Yeah, I just never qualified good here. I think it's a mental thing, and then Bobby blowing up, and just we got a mental block here. I do, and good in the race. I mean, we tested really good at Indianapolis, and I get around that track really good. So that's the next qualifying effort for us. But I don't know. You know, we've been trying a lot of things, and I just can't find the right thing to do. So it's nothing wrong with Team Targa. They're trying everything they can, but I never qualified good here. I was listening to Kevin. I saw him say it, and there is 3 corners here. I have problems with all 3 of them too. So, and I've been coming here a lot longer than Kevin has, but I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, Jimmy Spencer has a lot of confidence. Over the past 10 races here at Pocono, he has been the 8th best driver, Marty.
Matt, all I can say is what's wrong with this picture? It's a blue car with a driver in a red fire suit in the seat. And Mikey, who's driving your car there?
What are you doing?
I was just checking your seat out. I was just seeing if I could fit 2 of me in here. I think I can.
Sometimes when we test, Junior drives my car or I'll drive his. And him getting in my car is difficult. You ought to see me squeeze my big rear end in his car. I run a LaJoy seat. I was trying to tell Junior about my headrest and all this stuff. And he said I'd be amazed if I could just see out of my car some of the stuff I do.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult, but I sit so far down in it. You're such a big guy, you probably...
Michael did one too many interviews.
I'm sure, but, yeah, my car's a lot different. I mean, everybody likes their own little thing, so, but yeah, it's kind of neat in here.
All right. You're cut off after that, Mikey. You know, the first one you did okay on, but that one, I don't think that one was that good.
It's a lot of pressure. You just throw things in. I don't have those earphones.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you use it.
Just to try to come up with this stuff off the hip. You and Matt walk around forever, like I said, rehearsing. I don't have that luxury.
Well, you better go take control of your race car. I think he's going to drive it off. You qualified better than him.
He looks good in there, though, don't he?
He does look there. Look good there. All right, Bill, please take control of the show.
Those things don't happen on his show.
Oh, man.
Rusty Wallace, 7th after his first lap.
Yeah, pretty good second lap right here. One really good, actually making time up right here, turn 2. Well, he was making up getting in.
This is a sister car to the one they tested and will run at Indianapolis.
There's another guy that shut it off. If he knew how fast he was going, I don't think he would have.
So you see the temperatures go up and you got it, right?
Maybe, or maybe he just didn't like something he felt and decided that he was losing time.
So that's a good question to ask him when he comes in, why he shut it off, because he was on it.
Because that was a good lap.
Yeah. Rusty runs well here, currently 7th. Rusty Wallace, a lot of success here at Pocono, looking for his first win in 2002. Only has 1 top 5, but he could get well here. In the rain, a perfect storm for Rusty. 1991 in the Miller Genuine Draft car, pulled into victory lane. And then in June of 1994, ahead of Earnhardt, the celebration was on. July 1996, Rusty and the Miller crew celebrating again. He's a 4-time winner here. Here's his most recent one. Just over 2 years ago, Rusty takes the checkered flag in the July race at Pocono. Looking for that first win, but 4th in points and really having a solid season and a bona fide contender for the Winston Cup Championship. Jeremy Mayfield with Ray Evernham calling the shots for him on the radio now on Sundays. I quizzed Ray about that this morning. I said, so you're really crew chief? He said, no, I'm not. I'm just the last voice you hear on the radio on Sunday. I get to make the final decisions.
That's pretty good on his go lap.
And his teammate, Bill Elliott, on the pole, 52.765. Watch the pace chase here. Completely overcast now. The track is cool. Jeremy knows this track very well, and he knows turn 3 really well. So Mr. Earnhardt down there late in the race one year and on to victory lane. What do you think?
Looked good getting in. He lost a little bit of time on the exit of 2.
This is big right here, though, right? Going into 3.
I don't think he's going to make up 3/10, but if he maintains it, he'll be in the top 8 or 9.
practice. There's car owner Ray Evernham. Mayfield 8th after his first lap. 53.145. Staying with it.
Watch as he gets into one here. Actually, he's fast going into one. I mean, real fast. He got through that time a little bit better.
That was too long.
I mean, that turn over there with the tunnel under it.
I knew what you meant.
Better.
Jeremy Mayfield coming to get the checkers. 4th. So Ray Evernham has a car 1st and 4th. And Casey Atwood in the 7 car is 17th. So that's 3 cars currently in the top 20 after 40 of the 44 cars have made their qualifying runs. Rusty Wallace, a strong run. Currently 8th, Marty.
And Bill, I talked to Rusty just a second ago. You knew that second lap was faster. You had to shut down wide.
Yeah, it was a lot faster second lap. I could feel it was going for it, but the motor got 260, and I just couldn't sacrifice it. You know, it's a race motor, and with this one engine rule, you can't screw open. So had to throttle back and shut her down, and it's too bad. But hey, I don't care. I mean, if you qualify up front here, you can win this race from here, no problem.
You guys have really turned around qualifying lately, Rusty. Why has it turned around so quickly?
We're paying a lot of attention on our qualifying effort. We've been top 10 about every week now, and that's a long way from 9 poles one year to nothing, you know, and we're working hard to get that back.
This would be his 4th top 10 start of the year in the last 5 races if he can hold on to it, guys.
Yeah, and that's a hard decision to make too. When you know you're on a great lap, but like Rusty said, the way these rules are now, he's got to race that engine, and that would have been ugly, because that thing, if it was 260 over there in turn 2, it would have been 280 at the start finish line.
You got to really apologize then if you hang on, don't you?
Yes.
This could be his 4th top 10 starting spot in the last 5 races if Rusty hangs on. Currently 8th. Bobby Hamilton, though, good opportunity to bump him back, was 6th in practice this morning. His best finish here, 5th. Back in June of '96. Looking for a ride for next season. Already a half second off the pole place. 17th.
Looks like he gets through 1 pretty good, and 2's pretty good. It looks like he had the hardest time in turn 3 on that lap.
Dave?
Well, see, it's because he's on that 2-lap strategy, right? He knew he could do better on the second lap, so that was sort of a warm-up. What do you think?
Are you trying to convince us or him?
We'll find. Well, I think he's convinced. I think he's committed. Didn't look so good through 2, though.
No, it's definitely
so
slower.
much for my theory.
So much for your theory, Dave.
Sorry, I'll stop theorizing.
That's okay. Enough theorizing. That'll keep him in 17th spot. Just a little bit slower on the second lap.
And that's going to be very disappointing for him after being 6th in practice earlier today. Coming up next on TNT on the East Coast, watch Robert De Niro in Ronin. And on the West Coast, don't miss the world's most dramatic police chases with Wally Dallenbach. Next on TNT.
That was a good movie. Great car chase.
Ronin?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
De
They
Niro?
crashed a lot of cars.
Yeah.
Police cars.
So it was legal.
That's next on the East Coast, right here on TNT. But you haven't seen the Thomas Crown up there.
No.
Jimmy Johnson on the track. 2 wins this season, 5 top 5s, 12 top 10s, 3 poles in 2002, 7 top 10 starts. And I really am excited about watching Jimmy Johnson and Ryan Newman in the second half of the season going back to tracks for a second time.
Yeah, Ryan wound up with, so far, he's 7th fastest. And Timmy's got a good lap going here, too. And now they got some notes to go on, and definitely going back to these tracks a second time. They've got a lot of confidence. Jimmy's got a good lap going here.
Green is good, red is bad.
Went from good to bad real quick there.
Yeah, it did. Shouldn't have said anything.
This crew chief, Chad Knaus, is pretty good at qualifying at big tracks, too, guys, don't you think?
Yeah, he was 24th, though, in practice.
He's not going to be 24th this time.
Foot to the floor. First lap in the books.
7th quick.
One in front of Ryan Newman.
See how the side skirt is really glued to the track there too, not when he's when the weight transfers here, but I'm sure the side skirt is down as well as the front valence, guys.
Yeah, his car is very flat too. If you watch it go through the corners, it's real flat. Got, like you said, Dave, it skirts down on the left side. That's good.
Staying with it. He's in the green there briefly. Bill Elliott was just so fast from the second turn back to the flag.
See, he bobbled right there. He had a problem getting into turn 3, and that's all. And believe me, that magnifies it. If you have one little problem, you just see tenths go flying out the window. So he decided that was it.
That was a great point Rusty Wallace made, though, about you can't detonate the motor because you go all the way to the back. Yeah. And all your work you've done here today is out the window. Marty?
I am here with Jeremy as he signs autographs as well. These fans are kind of fanatical here. That's the definition of fan, isn't it?
That's pretty cool. Every time you come to Pocono here, they're like this, and that's pretty awesome.
Hey, great run for you. What's the deal with all these Evernham cars up at the top?
I don't know. I think it all starts with Bill. You know, he put the pressure on all of us, and, you know, I'm real happy with the team, man. We had a good team effort today and worked good together with the 9 car. They helped us a lot, and, you know, Casey's on the pole in the ARCA race, and just a good team, total team effort here for the Evernham Motorsports.
You know what I think it was for you?
Dodge.
No, I think it was I think it was the Dave Burns wagon magic. You went up there and you went out qualified well, right?
Well, I knew how they talked about everybody. You know, everybody was messing up, and they said, yeah, they're getting loose and all this. So I said, I got to get a good lap so they don't talk about me up there. Hopefully they said some good things.
That won't stop us.
Put the pressure on him, Burns, but way to go, buddy.
Well, I think, you know, he probably did what Elliott did, guys, which is I wonder if he underdrove turn 3, because that's the one that everyone else has been apparently overdriving. Maybe Bill.
Dave, give it up. Dave, no? Dave, you got credit. Just say thanks to the guys back in the truck.
Thanks to the guys back in the truck.
There you go. And this is Jeffrey Bodine in the 26 car, the Discover Car Ford. And it is Jeffrey. Todd is in Colorado for the Busch race. And Jeffrey has this car all the way through Sunday. Expected to be in it when they take the green flag here.
Why isn't Todd in it Sunday?
Because he's not coming here from Colorado.
Alan and Benny are coming here from Colorado.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, and this is just talking to some of the guys in the garage area, but Travis really wants this car to run well. By putting Jeffrey in it now and keeping him in it, he's run well at this track. The car is set up for him. You don't have to worry about putting another driver in with somebody else's setup underneath it. And maybe they can get a good finish. Of course, Todd came back last week and got him a good finish, so after not being in the car all weekend. But, you know, as a driver, you want to set up your own car. You're not really comfortable when somebody else has done it.
It's definitely hard to get in the car, Bill. You're right. It's definitely hard to get in the car on Sunday morning, not having a lap on the racetrack. So that's a good move on Travis's part. I don't think Todd's having to worry about Jeffrey taking his ride.
No. He's got 3 wins here. This is a track where Jeffrey Bodine runs well.
And first lap, he's 25th fastest. He's going after the second one.
Don't forget our coverage of the Pennsylvania 500 begins at 12:30 Eastern Time Sunday afternoon with, appropriately enough, the Discover Card countdown to green.
A little bit tight there. Moved him up 1 spot.
24th. So the 26 car currently 24th. And 1 more car to go. Let's go down trackside to Mr. Snyder.
And Jimmy Johnson is here. First lap looked really good. Second lap looked like you'd had enough of that.
Yeah, I was trying. You know, we struggled a little bit at the end of practice. Chad went and looked at some notes from when we tested and put the car back underneath me how it was, and it was a lot better. And I wish I knew then, that first lap, what I know now, and I could have squeezed a little bit more out of it. But for my first true effort qualifying here, to be in the top 10 is great. I need to thank Lowe's for all their help. And on the side of the race car there in front of the left rear tire, you'll see a sticker that says in memory of Blaze Alexander. And I want to thank Lowe's for opening up some signage on the car. This last place, Blaze won a ARCA race, and it's his hometown track, so we're proud to carry a sticker on the side of the race car here this weekend.
Of course, Blaze and Jimmy were good friends, and Blaze was a hometown guy and lost his life at Charlotte last year, Bill.
Blaze Alexander from nearby Montoursville, Pennsylvania. Final car on the track. M&M's Pontiac of Ken Schrader, his teammate Johnny Benson, currently 6th. Let's see if Schrader has some magic to pull out here.
They're 18th fastest in practice.
Got after the gas good. This is a Ken Schrader kind of track. 5 poles here. More than anybody else. Of course, if he doesn't bump Bill Elliott off the pole, it will be a 2-way tie. And that's the man he's trying to beat. Not going to be on the first lap. You're not going to be too pleased with this, Wally.
No, you know, he was pretty good up until he got to turn 2, and then all of a sudden he lost a lot of time. And he may try a second lap as well if he can keep temperatures down. 26.
53.583.
Looks like he's decided to go for it.
Through the rugged turn 2, final car of the 44 that have come here to qualify for the Pennsylvania 500.
Got through there better that time.
Bill Elliott can breathe a sigh of relief. He will lead the field to the green flag here Sunday afternoon. Schrader off a 3.
It should be a little bit better for him on the second lap.
Checker flag is out. A little bit.
Very little.
Up to 25th. So Ken Schrader, 25th. And there is the man that will lead the field to the green flag in the Pennsylvania 500, Bill Elliott. And he's standing by down there with Matt Yoakum.
For the second straight week, Bill Elliott wins the pole. You didn't have a chance to showcase how great that race car was last week. Obviously, you got to be pretty confident about Sunday.
Well, you know, the confidence has come each and every week. I mean, the guy, like I said last week, I mean, this is a team effort. It's no one guy, no one person in the show. You know, Ray's could put us a good opportunity under us. We've got some really good people around us, and that's all starting to come together. And I think, like I said last week in the press room, you know, this is the most stable environment I've been in a number of years. And I think the stability and the people we got around us is starting to show. And I mean, it's not me. It's about all the guys in the garage that put all these pieces together.
Now you're chasing that modern era pole record. You're getting ever closer each time you win a pole. But here this weekend, you could become the all-time Pocono winner with a 5th win on Sunday.
Well, that's still a long way to go. You know, we like 20 laps finishing last race here, and it's just an unfortunate deal. But you know, now we just got to keep chipping away at it and make it better. If I don't get hit in the head with a ball,
that would be Tony Stewart.
Exactly. But like I said, we'll keep digging at it.
Well, you keep digging. Bill Elliott, 4 wins here at Pocono, looking for 5 on Sunday. Bill.
46-year-old Bill Elliott. Burns called him the old man earlier today. Instead, his 5th Pocono pole, 55th of his career, 6th all-time, 3rd place in the modern era since 1972, of course, behind DW and David Pearson. Only one car did not qualify, so it'll be 43 taking the flag here at Pocono. It's the first Dodge pole of 2002 and the first Dodge ever to win the pole here at Pocono. Elliott's first back-to-back poles since 1988. Here's how they'll start on Sunday. Elliott and Rudd on the front row. Michael Waltrip with a good run. Johnny Benson makes his return. He'll break from the 6th position. Rookie Jimmy Johnson and Ryan Newman, a great row 4. Then look at 5. It's Wallace and Stewart. Jerry Nadeau next to Dale Earnhardt Jr. Nadeau now with Petty Enterprises. The point leader breaks from row 7, right in front of Dale Jarrett, Mark Martin, and Bobby Hamilton share row number 9. Casey Atwood and Joe Nemechek are in the 10th row. Matt Kenseth in row 11. Busch and Jeffrey Bodine in row 12. In row 13, Schrader in green. Jeff Gordon comes all the way from 14th. It's an all Gordon row. That's the 14th row. Robbie Gordon and Jeff Gordon. Kevin Harvick in row 15 with Terry Labonte. As we continue through the field, Elliott Sadler in row 16. The Burton boys are in row 17. Jeff on the inside, Ward on the outside. Mike Wallace in the 14 this week. Bobby Labonte back in the field, along with Kyle Petty, Mike Skinner, Brett Bodine, Garrett Coe, Kirk Shelmerdine, and Morgan Shepherd round out the field. 43 starters for Sunday afternoon. Tomorrow on NBC at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, it's the Net Zero 250 from Pikes Peak International Raceway. Sunday on TNT at 12:30 Eastern Time, Pep Boys presents the Pennsylvania 500. Coming up next on the East Coast, Ronin, and on the West Coast, the world's most dramatic police chases. Next on TNT. For Wally, Marty, Matt, and Dave, Bill Weber and the TNT gang saying we'll see you Sunday for the green flag.